All right, my mic's already on. All right, okay. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so in chat, I said I'll be like 5 minutes. And then Engzak said Alodus said, dun, dun, dun. You said the same thing yesterday, and then you never came back. Don't break our hearts again. Wrong. Incorrect. That's not true. I didn't say I'd be 5 minutes yesterday. I said that the game was down, that I had other stuff I was doing anyway, and that maybe way later on that night, if I found time, I'd come back. That is completely different to saying I will be here in 5 minutes. That's completely different. How dare you? Hello, everybody, though. Hello, hello. Kabram, Bacon's all mine. It's good to see you. Charlie, Onya Strom. Dead Zella at work at the moment, can't chat, but still listening. Yeah, so, what was I going to say? Right, yeah, today, basically, what we're doing is the end of POF, the final always time for Taimi, and whatever interesting lore we can glean from Vabbi / salvage from Kourna and the Griffin thing. I don't know what will happen when we go to speak to Kourna. Whether she'll guide us to the library, what will happen when we go to the Tomb of the Primeval Kings. I just want to go and have a look at that stuff. I also want to go to LA and listen to the ambient dialogue there and see how that might have potentially changed. And just general little things like that. Amnoon, maybe see what some of the stuff's like there. But it's going to be pretty relaxed and easy, to be honest. Then we're going to decide what we want to do as our next like project and stream thing. Whether we want to go back to PvP and casting lots of automated tournaments and doing stuff like that. So I was actually watching a Jebro stream yesterday. Was it yesterday? I don't know. I'm such an arrogant person sometimes, but he was on it. I was on his stream and he was playing a little bit of PvP and he used the caster user interface where you can see how many teams join. In fact, I might be able to show you. Hold on. Let me log in. Let's do this whole story here before we cut to the intro then. And I'll show you how I'm arrogant. Here's another way that I'm arrogant. I finally checked out the super edit of the no skills challenge. So basically, Darg took all 15 hours or whatever it was of the no skills challenge and edited it into a 2.5 hour video. So it's like the difference between having to dedicate an entire weekend to watching me complete the game to just a movie to complete the entire game with no skills. And he kept all of the key rants and stuff in there. And I kind of hate it. I mean, I don't hate Darg's editing and I don't hate the video. I kind of hate me is what I'm trying to get at. I mean, it is awful. I am such a, like, big head. It's hot. And there's certain things that I said in it which I genuinely believe. So, for example, I said one of the early rants was about Rangers. And I said this, and I'll say it again on stream now, except I'm going to try and have my tone a little bit different. I think that if you're a pure Ranger player, as in you've never played anything other than Ranger, your opinion on the strength and merits of pets is completely disregardable. That's what I was basically saying on the stream, because the game is so different with a pet versus without that you really have no real perspective for the standard Guild Wars 2 experience, and therefore don't worry about a pure Ranger player's opinion, right? And I believe that, and I'll stand by that. That's what I was like. However, the way I talked about it on the stream was just, I mean, I was doing it a little bit, gaming it up a little bit to, you know, for the funnies, I guess. But God, I was such a prick. I was like, ignore all Rangers. Ranger players are terrible. And I mean, I was so smarmy and just, ugh. I've never wanted to punch myself in the face harder. And it's just like the super edit is that, and then 2 seconds later, that again. And then 2 seconds later, that again. And 2 seconds later, that again. I mean, God, I'm such a dickhead. I hate it. So I'm kind of scared of it, really. I don't know, man. Why do you guys enjoy watching that? It's bad. It's really bad. Anyway, yeah, let's see here. Tournaments. Match history. All right, it's not quite as bad today in the past 24 hours, but look at this. This is still pretty... So what are we looking at here? This is Melandri's matchup. It happened about 12 hours ago. Another one will be in about 12 again. This is the matches for this daily automated tournament. These are the players that went into it. 4 teams. 4 teams for the entire tournament. Yeah, none of them were guild. One of them was guild teams, amazingly, the Imperial Guards. But you had Dragon's Despair, and the Dementists. There were only 20 people that played. I mean, this is like Guild Wars 1 levels of PvP activity. So, even if it was at night for EU, even if it was at night, no, not necessarily. No, I'm not playing PvP today. I just wanted to show this, and I went to a Jebro stream. And he looked at Lissa's Legions on NA. There were only 3 teams that had played it. 3! Only 3 teams! ATs aren't even a year old as a feature yet, are they? Or maybe they've just passed a year old? I mean, that is... Oh... Christ. And so the arrogant part is, I feel really bad for... What's it been for us? 3 months since we've stopped doing it? When I was covering these, we were getting a lot more teams doing it. And I feel really bad for stopping, because I'm arrogant enough to believe that if I hadn't stopped, if I'd kept doing all of those ATs, the scene would still be going quite a bit, if not having grown a lot. Is that, I mean, that's probably, it's irrelevant whether I'm right or wrong about that. But I feel really bad that I stopped, because I feel like it shriveled beyond, unbelievably shriveled the second I stopped looking at it. I mean, look at that. That's unbelievable. But yeah, so, I don't know. I was trying to just say how I'm arrogant. Basically, we might go back to PvP is what I'm saying after this is done, but it's up to you guys. I'm going to let people vote. The various ideas would be, what am I interested in? I'm not going to give you any options that I'm not interested in. I'm vaguely interested in playing Cantha and Winds of Change in Guild Wars 1. What with all the updates and stuff. My stance on this about 12 months ago was that I didn't want to keep going in circles covering the original game. When we did Nightfall, the viewership died, so I'd be killing what little stream viewership we have left by going back to Guild Wars 1, even if you guys say yes. But it might be interesting, and we could cover Winds of Change, and there's the new graphics updates, and lots of people are interested in Guild Wars 1 at the moment, so maybe that'll be a project. What else am I interested in doing? Maybe looking at Merciless again. Jebro was playing Merciless, that's why I was watching his stream. He did a bit of PvP, and then he went to play Merciless. I don't know, though. That feels like going in circles a bit. Maybe a new format of Zero to Hero Fractals Edition. I've been interested in for a while. That would be a huge project, just for what it's worth. Path of Fire with no Heart of Thorns is interesting, but we are just leaving a POF series. The potential for a series where we are doing Living World Season 3 playthroughs. Just continue going with Natalie. Yeah, I don't know. There's a few things. So that's what we'll be deciding later on in the stream. So you guys can think about that. But yeah, I'm going to intro it in, and I'll see you all in a moment. This is generally going to be really relaxed and chill. And I hope you guys keep a nice, cool, active chat so that we feel good about it. But yeah. All right. So see you guys soon. No worries about that, Ben. No worries. See you guys soon. Go get your coffee. in. Awesome. Hello, everybody. I almost forgot to post the proper link in Discord there a second ago. Yeah, welcome. This is the last episode of the Path of Fire playthrough, and hopefully everything goes all well. The most tangible bit of information we're going to be getting from this is always time for Taimi, but it's going to be a bit of an experiment looking at Kourna and some of the hearts in the Vitendi Academy and the Garden of Saborin. Which maybe we'll do first. We'll do like one heart, then we'll do Taimi, then we'll do the next thing. Yeah, so what's up, chat? How's it going? Let's see what we got. First of all, it's good to see you in chat. Rav, easily top active mod. Hey, WP, I was thinking you could add some text to this intro saying this is not a login screen. No, but then that ruins the fun. Listen, you just don't understand how to rope people into the streams. What you do is you beg the question so that they will post it. This encourages people to get Twitch accounts, which encourages them to use chat, which makes them realize that chat is fun, which makes them realize Wooden Potatoes is fun, which eventually makes them want a badge, which gets me money. That's just how it works, you see. It's like when people go to Reddit and they'll post something that's genuinely interesting, but they'll put a blatant typo in the title, because that way they can guarantee some comments of people saying, "Ah, you've got a typo there," and that gets the ball rolling. You see, all right. This is 4D chess, my friend, and leaving that message doesn't help in any way. Engzax is I'm sort of joking there. I've never actually thought that through, but it probably is a factor. Anyway, if SPVP game mode relies on you to stream and hype it up and can't stand on itself, there's a big problem with the game mode overall. Well, yeah, obviously. I mean, that's a pretty interesting topic, I think. We can look at any game there. I had a really cool message on Wooden Potatoes 2. I'm going to read it out as well, because people who watch Wooden Potatoes 2 are likely to hear this as well. So whoever it was can be comforted by knowing I read it. It's I mean, I already responded to them on there, but they were talking about it was responding to some random thing in one of the streams we've had, where we were essentially discussing the role of moderation in online communities, and I was talking about my quite sincere and very strong stern beliefs that heavy moderation is good, and that, I mean, generally I have quite a low opinion of humans. I think that we're stupid, and I think when we get in big groups we tend to be idiots, and I think that the internet gives power to voices that just have nothing worthwhile to say, and that if you look at any big enough community, it becomes a cesspit eventually, just because by our nature as people and the way we use the internet, we're shit at it. So moderation is the key to that. If you want a healthy community that is also a large community, it cannot be done without moderation. I'm a big believer in moderation. And tailoring communities, and so anyway, it was a conversation about that, and someone had a really fascinating response to it, which I want to find. Now, YouTube is updating all of its back-end stuff, so I'm having to relearn the website. But where is it? Sorry, I don't want to be in silence for ages. PvP coverage. Show more comments, please. They will be there. Hold on. And I will find the segue to what was going on. Here you go. So the response was from Chingaling, who said, an ideal but rare scenario is that a quality community can just manifest organically. Game theory dictates that followers will congregate with leaders. If a positive community is infected by toxicity, toxicity becomes incentivized. If a stagnant community experiences goodwill, goodwill becomes incentivized. Wooden Potatoes isn't wrong in his reasoning on moderating comments, but it does at least remove the possibility of an organically sustained positive system by trying to force your vision of good. A forced ecosystem will never sustain on its own. So that's what Chingaling said, which I find quite interesting, but I do believe that there's a lot of power in that, and particularly if you look at the way I don't know, the way people flock to influencers. The idea that you have like a selection. Don't think about Guild Wars. Don't think about me. Think about some other game, any other game. Preferably not an enormous game, but you know, some kind of niche experience, a bit like Guild Wars, you might consider. for any of those communities, you're going to have like the popular Twitch streamers and the popular YouTubers, and they're like, the idea is that they're the shepherds of the community, if you will. And if you find that your top influencers, if those people with the viewership on the top of the list who snowball like I am one for Guild Wars, right? The idea is if all of those people are positive, nice people who promote interesting discussion and aren't arrogant twats that you want to punch in the face, such as yours truly, if you have that nice atmosphere coming from them, the community follows suit because people are sheeps. And so that's essentially broached a little bit there in that comment. And I think that when we talk about PvP, a stagnant community gets some goodwill. It can become a community filled with good-willed people. I do believe in that in a way. I really do believe in that. And I think there is power there. I think people put money in that belief as well. I think that, like when we, I don't know, what's a good example? I don't know. But yeah, I think that it's something to keep your eye on. It's a weird thought as well, because I also hate the thought that I've ever had any remote sway on the development of Guild Wars 2 or its community. I hate the thought of having any power whatsoever. I just want to remain as like a guy that talks about what he thinks is important and geeks out a bit. And if people listen, then I hope I've just awakened what was already inside people instead of created something inside people. Do you get what I mean? So it's a scary thought that I could have made people more toxic, or I could have done this, or I could have done that. But people believe that that's the way it goes, you know? If you have a game that's just filled with complete jerks at the top end, all the good players are knobheads, all the people with the prominent voices are knobheads as well, then that just spirals into itself forevermore. You get more knobheads join in and alienating everyone else because no one's got like that space to feel like themselves within that community anymore. Do you get what I mean? I'm probably talking a bit airily about all of this, but yeah, I don't know. Then you say, oh, if PvP can't sustain itself with an influencer, then the game mode itself is crap. Is that true? Or is it a simple fact of gaming popularity these days that you kind of need those people there? Otherwise it will fall away, you know? Like here's an interesting little chat. I did a big video on Guild Wars 1 this week, and I played Guild Wars 1. I was playing pre-searing. You can go to my channel, Wood and Potatoes. You can find the Guild Wars 1 AFC. It's an hour and 40 minutes, I think, or it was an hour and 20 minutes, one of those. And in the background, I'm playing Guild Wars 1. I'm playing pre-searing. I made a new character because I was like, what can I do in Guild Wars 1? I really don't care about anything here at the moment, but maybe I'll make a new character and see how it feels. So I'm in pre, and pre was always this like encapsulated little game within a game, and it was all solo, and it feels more like a real RPG than anything else in Guild Wars 1, and it's kind of a special experience in a lot of ways. But I was playing it and really enjoying myself, and I was really immersed in Tyria. Like, I can't tell you guys. Some of you presumably watching this stream right now in chat watched that video. Did anyone here type a 1 in chat if you watched that video and you watched all the footage in the background? You watched me from the very start to get into the Duke Barradin estate and die into the Gruul Shamans and aggroing over to the monk and trying to get to use heal area on me and stuff. Like, I don't know what you're... Okay, so there are quite a few ones there. That's amazing, by the way, if you guys watched all this stuff. How many of you actually felt like that was a really immersive experience? I was fucking loving that. I'm telling you now, that footage you were watching there, I was really enjoying. And I was thinking about so many different things, like, wow, Tyria feels so big and immersive. Look at this slower movement speed. Look at this slower combat. Look at how weighty it feels compared to swinging a million chops through the air with a frenzy 100 blades or my axe on Guild Wars 2 with the Spellbreaker. And look at how simple the animations are. Look at how cool that bear looks as it lunges up in the air as I fire my arrow to it. Yeah, it feels clunky. Yeah, it feels a bit dated. But I was so, like, ingrained in it. And so to get to the point, I was enjoying myself a lot. But at no point did I seriously... and I was thinking about grind. So one of the quests I did in that footage is I was getting bear pelts. Super traditional grindy MMO quest. Kill bears until you luckily get 1 drops of pelt. And I got a bit low on the RNG there. I killed like maybe 6 bears before one gave it to me. And killing 6 bears took a while there because they were slow kills. I was only level 2. I had a weak bow, blah, blah, blah. So, anyway, as I was grinding, this bit felt grindy. And I'm not scared of grind. I think it can do positive things for games. As I was grinding through it and I was really enjoying myself, something struck me that despite the fact I was enjoying myself, I still didn't derive much meaning from the experience. And I thought to myself, well, why don't I derive much meaning from the experience? And it was really twofold. Well, threefold. One, I've done it all before. But putting that aside, and I really did put that aside, there's two reasons. One, it's not a game being actively developed. And I thought about that for a moment. I thought, is that the main reason? I thought that is definitely a factor. But it's not the be-all and end-all. And then I really honed in on the real reason. The real reason I wasn't deriving much meaning from it. It's because I didn't have the confidence that there was a large community of other people sharing this experience with me. And I don't mean I was playing solo instead of a party, or with two men, because it's pre-searing. I don't mean that. I mean that I didn't have like this general sense and vibe that lots of people were having this experience at the same time that I could interact with and talk about. And basically, I wasn't deriving meaning just because it wasn't new. And that baseline of there being a community there was no longer there. Does that make sense? And so, like, I realized that was a huge thing. And it doesn't matter whether it's an MMO or a single-player game. It's the same. There are some fantastic RPGs that are, like, 20 years old now. There's so many amazing gems you guys have never heard of. You've never watched the trailers for them or anything. But if you go back and watch a video game trailer for a 2001 PlayStation release, all right? If you go back and watch that trailer, are you going to derive, even if it's a game you've never played before and it has a lot to offer you, you can acclimate to the old graphics, whatever. Are you going to derive much meaning from it? The answer is no, just because it's not new. Just because you don't have that, like, confidence that there is a body of people out there who are in the same park as you right now. Because it's old, because it goes into this bin. And so, I'm not really whining about that. That's just a facet of nature. That's just, you know, that's who we are. That happens with movies and books and all kinds of things. Books is probably a much better example. There are probably fascinating, well, books are a little bit more timeless, I would say, just because their medium is so perfect for being timeless. But you know, something is robbed the second something becomes old, I guess. But it's not because it's old. It's because you can't have that confidence there's a community there. That's why you can get book clubs that are desperately interested in novels from the 1970s, because your community is the book club, you know, or whatever else. So anyway, what the long and short of it is, back to the PvP comment. If PvP can't exist on its own and it needs people to cover it, is it bad? Is it? Or is it just that an influencer, a person like Georgia streaming Guild Wars 2 all the time, PvP that is, and casting PvP and doing that, that person provides that ever so important baseline. Do you get what I mean? And it might not be Guild Wars 2's fault, you just need that at some level. And Guild Wars 1 just may be a certain level of age now, and other contributing factors have come into it, such as the fact people have had their fill, such as the fact the devs aren't looking at it, blah, blah, blah. But it may just be at that age now where that's the last line, but that was always a crucial line. Does that make sense? Anyway, I was thinking about that as I was playing pre-searing. And just to reiterate, I was really enjoying playing pre-searing. I have a very, very, very desperate desire to see a great exploration-oriented MMO, but no one has the right philosophies anymore. I honestly feel like MMO development is so in the dumps. It's so, like, Nike, if you guys haven't watched him, he's a very controversial figure. I always have to caveat whenever I mention him on my streams. That's been tied up in various silly things over the years. But he's got some intelligent thoughts about the game. Now, Nike's gone back to Guild Wars 1 recently, and he just did a video on Guild Wars 1 endgame versus Guild Wars 2 endgame, as he sees it from a fresh perspective as a 2018 player. Guild Wars 1 versus Guild Wars 2. Now, that's a fun topic, always. You guys can you can pause my stream. I wouldn't be offended. Go check his video out. Anyway, he's talking a lot. He gets some things right and some things wrong, in my opinion, as we would all feel as we watched a video like that. But he talks a lot about how MMOs can't exist without pandering to casuals, basically. How you need a casual user base that provides a certain casual experience. And he's talking about how failure was a thing in Guild Wars 1. You would fail a dungeon. If you try a dungeon in Guild Wars 1 and you don't understand the game and you don't know buildcraft and you don't know LOS, it will chew you up, it will spit you out. If you try Winds of Change hard mode, it will eat you for breakfast, and it's not scared shoving its middle finger in your face and saying, no, you get kicked, redo the last hour of gameplay. Guild Wars 1 wasn't scared of that, and it was... But Guild Wars 2 is. You look at the Palawa Joko fight or the Balthazar fight, both things I've done on my stream just last weekend, both boss fights that I failed and it just let me respawn immediately and play again without even resetting their health bars, you know? And there are these big differences between Guild Wars 1 and 2, which I talk about a lot and lament the loss of a lot. But Nike really, he puts forward a case that you just can't have an MMO in any other way. And he almost makes me feel silly for going on so many streams and saying, oh, I wish that they would redo this. I wish Corteria wasn't soloable by a pet, guys. I wish. You know, I say this on stream all the time, over and over and over again. And I watched Nike's video there, and he is so sure that you just can't have games that aren't like that anymore. It almost makes me feel silly ever broaching the topic. But it makes me sad. Whether he's right or wrong that you can or can't, it makes me so sad. I really think MMOs have lost their way. And I don't know. That little glimpse, imagine what Pre made me realize is I really want an experience like this again, but I want it to be new as well. I want that confidence. I want that I want to derive meaning from it because it's new and because it's popular and because I have some understanding that other people are around, you know? But I can't get that. The only way I can get the real gaming experiences I care about a lot about are in overly fringe societies now or old games and just design that everyone's moving away from. You know, my girlfriend was ranting to me yesterday about Pokemon, which I was a big fan of the older Pokemon, so was she, but she talks to me about how the new ones are going. And they just seem to be, I mean, she described it, I've heard a lot about these mechanics, but not experienced them myself, so I won't talk like I know anything. But she described the experience, the culmination of all these changes that have gone into the games, as basically just a cash grab for 9-year-olds. And I totally see that, you know? I don't know. Divinity might be nice for you. What do you mean Divinity? I mean Original Sin 2. Enhanced edition of Original Sin 2 is about to come out, isn't it? Or has it just come out? I think it's for like preload on Xbox people. But you know, Divinity Original Sin 2, these are fringe experiences now. That's what we'd call, you know? WP keeps saying they are scared of that, like ArenaNet does not actually want their game to be casual friendly, but instead are forced to. Oh, you think that their philosophy is... I mean, yeah, that's another... The thing is, there's all these confusing things that get mixed up with this franchise, and it frustrates me. Listen, ignore that Guild Wars 2 exists. Completely ignore that Guild Wars 2 exists. Only Guild Wars 1 exists. Guild Wars 1 was well known as being a game that respected your time. Amongst its peers for its day, we can add those caveats. But it was already well respected as being a game well understood as being a game that respected your time. Well understood. Those philosophies were baked into their development in that franchise and how that studio operated and how those products came out. It was already deeply like that. So the thought that we have to hyper-exacerbate those issues, those aspects of the franchise when going to Guild Wars 2, just so it can continue having that reputation, I don't know whether that's fair. I really think it comes more down to tutorialization and telegraphing and all that stuff. I reckon you can actually have a very complicated, punishing, interesting game that nonetheless is very casual friendly. I really believe you can. It's called a good learning curve, and it's about layering mechanics on intelligently. And that's where I think MMO developers have completely lost the fucking plot, because I think that they've got no understanding of how to do that in a really big game anymore. And so they just like, they remove all senses of what a game is. Like, look at something like Plants vs. Zombies. Let's not talk about Plants vs. Zombies 2, because I haven't experienced much of that, and I've only seen like a bit of an LP, and I know it got very weird and Popcat started going down the drain. But if you look at Plants vs. Zombies 1, you can't tell me that's not a casual game. And you also can't tell me that by the time you get to the final boss, that's not a legit goddamn tower defense, complicated, interesting management game. You can't tell me that. And I'll tell you what's great about Plants vs. Zombies is because it's got a great learning curve, because the beauty of the game is getting more out of the learning curve. It's just all about how things are presented. That's where I think MMOs are deficient now. And I think so many studios are so content with aping one another. You know, like, oh, WoW was successful, so we just have to ape these elements. ArenaNet dares to be a bit different. Well, this is what was successful about Guild Wars 2, so we're World of Warcraft, we're just going to copy that stuff now. You know, just this mindless aping Is no one out there going to sit down and actually say, these are the issues with MMOs, let's solve it? It seems like ArenaNet tried and would led astray in a lot of ways, especially over their continued development efforts. So I don't know, I really understand people on our MMORPG. There's a scary thing at play right now where people basically think that you can't have a good MMO anymore. It's just because your first experience with an MMO will always be special to you. But I call bullshit to that. I really don't think that's true. It's not that your first MMO was special. It could genuinely be that things are changing. I want to know how long it will be before we have the kick back in the other direction, because I'm sure it will happen. But do I have to wait a decade before games are being made again, according to my sensibilities? Ewendell says, hell no, PvZ's learning curve is like 1% incline for 100 years. Well, you may find it too slow or too long, obviously, according to taste, but the success of the game can't be denied. You know what I wonder one of the best metrics for the success of an MMO or any game is? It's percent completion rates. Someone must have looked into this at some point. But I wonder if you could find, like, just percent, you know, number of people who get that Steam achievement for the end of the game, number of people get this. The games with the really high percent of that, barring, you know, aberrations and weird things to do with how the achievements are actually doled out and playtime length and things, I bet there's something that was really telling about that. How do you complete an MMO? That's another good question, obviously. Obviously, definitely. Maybe it's just the wrong genre. There are a lot of multiplayer genres that give a lot an MMO could. In one sense, I see what you're saying, definitely. But no, in another sense, I think it is... I can sit here with a deadly straight face and say the ultimate gaming experience is within the MMO genre. Whether that term is being phased out. The idea that broad-scale, massively social, massively multiplayer, connective gaming. The ultimate gaming experience is that. And, you know, people would be very easy to tie that with, you know, a VR MMO or whatever. I really do believe that. Efficiency says that 91% of players on efficiency have the Killing Zaitan achievement. That's extraordinary. I think that just says a lot more about efficiency than anything else. There are a ton of good indie games, but there are also tons of Minecraft, but with zombie asset flips. I mean, the whole, yeah, I see the word indie there. And we can even extend this to, like, middleware companies, right? I think that one of the big issues that MMOs do face is good games, unfortunately. Genuinely good. I'm talking, let's put our glasses on. Let's weigh 110 pounds. Let's never see the sun. Let's be 6'1", weedy, spotty little nerd geek boys. Let's be those right now. Let's be the true nerds of the world. The ultimate nerds, okay? Hi, that's me right now. Let's be nerds. The good games, the truly good games, that we would enjoy, they're risks to make. And MMOs can't afford risks in general. So much capital has to go into MMO development. And that's the truth behind it. That's why ArenaNet, it was such a rare, special, precious gem. Because they were willing to put their money where their instincts were. While a lot of other MMOs just have to copy. So this genre, above all others, I think is stagnant in that way. Just because there's such risks, you know. Is WP thinking of streaming other games? No, not necessarily. No. We're just talking about stuff. I know it sounds a bit doom and gloomy, but these are thoughts that linger and surface, you know, year in, year out. I don't know why they're on this stream. We were about to start doing the story. Just drinking some Coke, I guess, and relaxing. Are we gonna get started with this stream anytime soon? The stream is live. You can turn off if you like. See you later. Full Fortnite streamer. Yeah, that'll be fun. I'll go get a ton of 8-year-olds as my audience. Yay. That will make me happy. You thought like 7 to 10 top games of MOBA? I think if this was a few years ago, you'd probably find the MOBA craze was in full swing. good MMO equals good combat system, says Kabads. Nice, sorted. Good combat system. Beauty. I mean, if you want to stream... No. Why are we talking about me streaming other games? I've got no ambition to stream other games right now. I've got no ambition. We were just talking about how Pre made us feel, you know? We were just talking about Pre-Syrian, and we were talking about PvP populations and stuff. No, so Vec AR says that's the real problem. Hardcore gamers are not as profitable as casuals, so why would they design a game for them? Again, I think you can have your cake and eat it too. The Wood and Potatoes, patented, guaranteed to work, 100%, fully inclusive answer. The answer to all things is it all comes down to tutorials. I don't like the word tutorials. It all comes down to the learning curve and how you express and foster an interest and excitement in players getting more detail out of your game. The perfect game does hit those casuals, and it turns the casuals into dedicated, well-informed, understood players that know a lot about the game and can derive a lot of meaning and experience and joy out of the game. World of Warcraft was a smash success for doing something similar, but instead of it being about making a genuinely good game at the end of the road, WoW was good at taking casual people and getting them addicted, right? And I'm talking about a similar thing, but I'm not talking about carrot on a stick, gear grind addiction, treadmill, Skinner box, manipulative stuff, all right? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about being able to take something that's very simple and easy to understand and how to enjoy it, and hitting that holy grail of, wow, this is a really complicated, interesting, awesome thing that has all these facets that are worthwhile playing with. That's the spirit of what is so difficult about it. And the bigger the game and the broader the product and the more different facets it has, such as you find with MMOs, the harder that is to juggle. And so we can all understand the spirit of what I just said, but it takes real design chops, real intelligence, but the likes of which I don't even scratch the surface of. It takes genuine talent to a level that I can only speculate to be able to pull that off. But that is the only route. It's certainly not what Guild Wars does, which is dumb the fuck everything down and just don't bother trying to tackle it at all. I don't think anyway. Anyway, I'm going to get distracted reading chat here. Let's get in game. Let's see, there's always time for Taimi. I kind of want to do it now, actually. I consider myself a casual player in Guild Wars 2, but getting to the point where I think about combos and such took years. I mean, it's not about... You guys, whenever you hear this, though, you're going to be thinking that I mean... where's this going to teleport me to? All the way over here. You're going to be thinking about combat stuff. I'm not talking about combat stuff. It's learning curve and tutorialization. It's not about complexity of movement or combat action. It's about interfacing with... It's about learning how to have fun. That's what the game needs to teach you very well. And that's what Guild Wars doesn't teach you very well. It doesn't teach you what's fun about AP. I mean, yes, the combat sides of things are a facet of it as well. You have way more fun in Fractals if you understand why you're face rolling this T4 instead of not based on team comp stuff. You'll have more fun in those perspectives. But it's a lot more than that. It's teaching people how to have fun. How to have fun in automated tournaments. How to appreciate all kinds of things. So it's... I hope I'm not encouraging some kind of just shallow understanding here that I'm just talking about all combo fields and break bars and stuff. No. It's a learning curve for the entire experience, you know. That's what I'm trying to get to. Like, it's teaching people how world versus world is so fun. I'm no stranger to the fact that world versus world is probably amazing. Once you have a community and you're really invested in the matchup and you understand the combat very well, but you really have that server pride. Once you've got all of those building blocks in place, world versus world can be the greatest thing in the world. But it's those building blocks that aren't there. The building blocks ArenaNet gives you are a couple of NPCs in the Grove and Ratasum saying, "Oh, join us in the Mist War," and then you walk in, and then you're just left to fiddle with the UI and wander around. That's Guild Wars 2's building blocks, and they're not appropriate building blocks. They won't get enough people at the point of where they really understand what's great about the game. Do you get what I mean? And it's the same for ATs, it's the same for raids, it's the same for AP, it's the same for how even open world boss chains, it's the same for acquiring ascended gear, it's the same everywhere. Anyway, this conversation is not pointed even remotely anymore, so I'm starting to regret opening my mouth. Hopefully, World vs. World will get a lot more informative when the big alliance changes come through. Yeah, in 2000XX, yeah, 2030 when that arrives. Exactly, like alliances need that stuff. That's what I mean. That's housekeeping that needs to happen on the back end. And why the NPE, the new player experience, as heavily as it was backlashed against by veterans, was an amazing and important thing for Guild Wars. And there needed to be one of those, if not two of those, every year. But they cancelled it. It's been a lot of times where Guild Wars has done that. It's actually done the right thing, but they've messed up implementation slightly, and then they've abandoned it. Like traits being acquirable from specific areas of the world is a great thing, and you shouldn't toss the baby out with the bathwater. Just realize that people don't like it because you put Grandmaster traits in starter zones and adept traits in endgame zones. Like, figure out your implementation. The idea is perfect, but the implementation was wrong. Same with the NPE. The idea of the new player experience is perfect. Implementation was wrong. Look at the specifics of what you got wrong. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater and never look back. But that's what there's several occasions we've had that, and that's what I mean. Like, it just feels like those chops aren't there. Those, I don't know, that talent isn't there anymore. They can brute force a lot of cool shit in the game, but in terms of content quantity and quality on the small scale, but those larger systems are just not, they're suffering. The talent isn't there. Right, why am I wandering around Kourna? Yeah, what do you think of my Fashion Wars 2? Just very quickly. I'm asking for your feedback, but let me just be very clear. I'm not interested in negative feedback, okay? I'm not interested in any rando asshats telling me how to do Fashion Wars, but I am interested in everyone who thinks I look really good. So can you type that? Can you tell me how I look? And only if I look good. There you go, thank you. Look, so you see we've color coordinated. New back piece. We got some nice gold stuff on here. And then also for the weapons, check it out. We got this big old axe here. Sneaky little dagger. This greatsword. The greatsword's not as cool though as these two bad boys here. Look at that. Oh yeah. Axe mace, baby. So we are the Desert King. Thank you. Yeah, that's it. Good job, chat. Good job. Perfect. Perfect. Sorry, I'm just squinting, looking here to see if anyone's been mean, because I need to tweet about that if they have. Let's see. No, it seems okay. Good, good, good. The echo chamber continues. Awesome. All right. So the last time, always time for Taimi, is where exactly? Amnoon? Does it matter? Can I go to any spot? Aroused Jelly. I slightly disagree with you looking good. I don't need you telling me how to do my job. I don't go down to where you work and slap the dicks out of your mouth. Alright. Let's see. It's not one specific place. I don't actually see anyone answering in chat. So let's just roll a beat on up to the other area. I'm just happy there were quite a few folks from the community covering Guild Wars lore on streams and videos, as their enthusiasm helps other people get into Guild Wars lore and makes folks realize the depth and breadth of it. Yeah, I mean, that Nike video I was really happy with, and I tuned in on one of his streams where he was playing Guild Wars 1 as well. It's cool to see people going back. It really is. Really is. I see someone saying, what the fuck to kill chain. It's good to see there, dude. Is this Twitch splaining? No, it's potato splaining. Which, you know, I could talk about, but I don't want to get too political. But it's a big issue that most people don't take as seriously as they should, unfortunately. Basically, just because I'm not human, they seem to think that I'm looking for feedback. Just because I'm an inanimate fucking object. I keep swearing on streams, I don't know why. Oh, she's there. She's literally physically there. Oh, snap. Oh, my God. Okay, well, we're in major combat music right now because I have 1 bleed on me. But when that goes away, wow, she's actually just here in the desert. How did I never realize this? All right, here we go.
Taimi, do you read me?
What is this thing? Who's speaking? I was told all the Progeny's devices were deactivated.
What? Hold on. What is this? Is this getting confused? Is Taimi here because of the most recent living world? Because that dialogue definitely didn't seem like she was meant to be here. It seemed more like Taimi would, do you read me? She's far away. Yeah, Benji, you got the reference. Yay. Heroes. Let's go to a different one, because I don't know whether it's supposed to be that. No, she does show up physically after the Path of Fire ending. Oh, really? Oh, I'm on a story part. Sorry, what? Hold on. What story part am I on? Yeah, this is cool though. That's not POF. That's Traherne at the camp. We don't have to worry about Traherne. She's not supposed to be there when I get that dialogue. Right, yeah. That seemed a bit off. Let's just go to the other always time for Taimi spot. Exhaust whatever this flunt dialogue is, which I'm assuming there'll be a few I can press F on. And then we'll go chat with her afterwards. That should make sense, surely. It's not far away. It's just, it's like on one of these cliffs, isn't it? Somewhere down here. We don't get to see it till we go quite close. I think it's this cliff. I swear you've done this before. There's tons more to that dialogue. Have I? Maybe? Didn't quite drift the whole way around, so I'm just going to cancel that there. Where do all these guys come from? Yeah, frames are really low. It's probably one of the hottest days of the year right now, and I still haven't cleaned my PC, so you guys are just going to have to struggle with it. Sorry.
Taimi, this is the commander.
Yes? Who is this?
Oh, is that it?
Taimi, do you read me?
Yes? Who is this?
Taimi, do you read me?
Yes? Who is this?
Taimi, do you read me?
Yes? Who is this?
Commander calling Taimi. Come in, Taimi.
Yes? Who is this?
All right, okay, I'm done. I'm done. I kind of wanted to like make a remix out of that. Change story steps from journal to get missing dialogue. What do you mean? So if I trigger episode 1 of season 4, do you think it will update?
Hey, Commander, it's Taimi. Here with Ritlock. Say hi, Ritlock.
Hi.
Ritlock has rounded up our provisions, and I'm almost done desert-proofing Scruffy. So, whenever you're ready to start looking for Aurene, we're at a Doyak Ranch just outside Amnoon.
Follow the smell.
Jeez. Ritlock sounded really creepy and scary there. Follow the smell. Ah, so Dead Zealot says, I think the last always time for Taimi is in between instances in the last story step, and you missed it, unfortunately. Ah, that would make sense, because I don't have that achievement. Do you have to do an always time for Taimi between the death of Balthazar and the party instance? Yeah, because you meet her physically at the party, so why would there be another one after that when she gets there? That's interesting. Oh.
Taimi, do you read me?
Yes? Who is this?
So if I just set my step to kill a god, will it work? Was that a separate step? Oh, it was. Oh. Oh, look at this. Oh, I didn't even realize. That's such a positive thing for this game, though. Look how seamlessly they do this. On the last stream, it was Beast of War. I thought the Beast of War was it. But do you remember that loading screen at the very end of Beast of War? That's a whole new story step there. So that functions as a checkpoint that can throw you right in at the start of the Balthazar fight. That's amazing to me they never did a challenge mode for it in the end then. Wow, okay, I understand now then. So let's read the recap as well, since we did this for the rest of the series, and this is the last episode, so let's do it. I want to read this in a place where worms aren't going to keep attacking me, though, so let me just move slightly down the cliff or something. We can always spring it back up if we want to. Right, yeah, let me read this. Beast of War. I rallied my guildmates and my borrowed awakened troops outside the Kodesh Bazaar. Kazmir had fully overcome her hesitation about fighting Balthazar. What? I don't even really remember this being too much of a story point, but okay. His actions having negated any lingering reverence she may have held for him, and not a moment too soon. She doesn't even do anything in the instance anyway, if that's supposed to be a redemption. Balthazar appeared atop a massive mechanical monstrosity he called the War Beast, a terrifying hybrid of living creature and armored siege engine. This is what Balthazar and the Forged were building in Glint's lair, a piece of ordnance that could contain and transport Aurene, then use her as a weapon to kill Krakatoa. All this information we're supposed to just glean in the moment, but if you remember those mysterious machines we see just before we go into Glint's lair, yeah, War Beast. And actually, before that in the plot as well, some Act 1 stuff had War Beast since. Balthazar marched his creation forwards to confront Krakatoa. Fortunately, Ritlock put our shared mission first and loaned me his sword, Sahothin, predicting that it would give me a decisive edge that Balthazar would not be expecting. And Ritlock was right. But even with Sahothin, it took all my riding and combat skills to catch and disable the War Beast. As it was, I didn't get to it in time before it directly engaged Krakatoa, and I actually did serious damage to the Elder Dragon before I was able to destroy it. This is interesting, the idea that he was weakened before the turbocharge. But Balthazar refused to give up. If he was thrown off by my coming back to life, or Sahothin, or my victory over his War Beast, he remained true to form, and didn't let that distract him from his objective. He took Aurene and declared he would use her to finish what the War Beast started, killing the Elder Dragon, Krakatoa. And then we have the last step to kill a god. So hold on. Let me start this and speak to Taimi and just see, because we might have missed this one. Maybe, potentially. Fingers crossed we didn't, but we might have. Let's just see.
So much power.
Alright, so let's listen up now.
Taimi, this is the commander.
Hi, boss. So, first off, you're currently alive, right? I only ask because your vital status has been so fluid lately.
Still breathing. Though if you were here, you'd be asking about Ritlock and Canuck.
That's intriguing. And a little frightening. Care to elaborate?
We're impersonating Joko's soldiers. Kaz cast an illusion, so they look like the local undead.
They must hate that. They're also pretty. Except Canuck. How'd you manage to keep your warm-blooded good looks?
The officer I'm impersonating was alive and well. Well, until I killed him. Nobody knows he's gone yet. We're mustering Joko's army to fight Balthazar's. It's our best shot at getting Aurene back before
Balthazar uses her against Krakatoa and ruin everything. Well, don't let me delay you. Go after her.
Alright, so we heard that about 1,000 times. Nike. So speaking of Nike, I was just talking about you on the start of this stream for a lengthy period of time. Because we were talking about some Guild Wars 1 stuff. Yes, camera shakes. Solo warrior gameplay with camera shake is meaty as all hell. It's awesome. The second you're with like even just 3 people, it is hideous again. But it's really good solo warrior gameplay. So anyway, right, that's that we heard before. But to kill a god, we definitely haven't heard this. I may have never heard this in my life. The thought of a time for Taimi between these two, when one throws you directly into the other, that's mental. So this could just be a repeat, in which case I'll go to character select if it is a repeat. Let's see.
Taimi, this is the commander.
What are you doing? Isn't there a pitched battle going on right now?
I'm on it. Balthazar's cornered. Down, but not out. He's still got Aurene.
Well, go get her back. Wasn't that the whole point? We can talk later.
Wow. I can't believe they implemented dialogue for that. How did they do that? Yeah, that's the one I've never heard. I can't believe they did dialogue. Just in case anyone's out of the loop of this, what happens here is you enter an instance here at the domain of Vabbi. You run through the instance. You go to the top of the Sky Garden. Sorry, it's over here. You go to the top of the Sky Garden, and immediately it throws you into another one. All here, and then you have a single boss fight, and you're done. So what the devs are saying is if you want this achievement, you have to stop playing here and then wander miles away just to get that bonus dialogue. I don't say that in an angry way, by the way. I actually really like that. I like that they put that on there. That's kind of hilarious. Yeah, that's my achievement. That's the one I'd never heard. Always time for Taimi. Unbelievable, truly. I wonder if any player legit, right as they were going through, recognized that loading screen and thought, oh my god, I need to go for always time for Taimi now, and left. That's unbelievable. So that means I have heard the final one, though I don't really remember listening to it. Let's see. So small victory. We've beaten Balthazar now at this point. We'll read the thing. With an enraged, wounded crowd. Also, by the way, maybe that's suggestive of some older, more expansive ideas for the campaign where there was going to be a bigger walk to Balthazar. With an enraged, wounded Kraukatoric overhead and Aurene backing me up, I squared off for the final showdown against Balthazar. It was brutal, but with Sahothin in hand and Aurene on my side, I prevailed. The god of fire and war is dead. However, even in death, Balthazar managed to disrupt the world's balance. As he fell, all the magic he had acquired erupted out of his broken body and was promptly absorbed by both Kraukatoric and Aurene. I like this, that they're very explicit, that this is just his new magic. He was a fallen god. We're talking about the Bloodstone here, really. Almost another Bloodstone explosion. But it was absorbed because 2 dragons were there this time. Can you imagine a Bloodstone Fen just having erupted here next to the Bran? That's kind of an interesting thought. Anyway, was promptly absorbed. Once his magical storm subsided, both the Elder Crystal Dragon and its scion were gone. So, this victory planted the seeds of our next dire challenge. How will we deal with 2 unpredictable and dangerously powerful dragons now that they've gorged themselves on Balthazar's magic? Interesting thought that Aurene is on par with Kraukatoric at the segue into Living World. I don't have the answers yet, but my team and I are going to regroup in Amnoon to figure out our next move. And we can try and speak to Taimi here one last time. Let's see.
Taimi, this is the commander.
Yes? Who is this?
That's Flunt then. Which makes sense timeline-wise, because at this point, Taimi would have been on the move. So, what's the special ending thing about Flunt, though? Sorry, do I have to go to a different spot every time to just get a little bit more detail out of Flunt? Is there an always time for Flunt achievement where you have to visit every different spot in the expansion once the expansion's finished? That would be a cool achievement. I'd be well up for that. As long as Flunt's dialogue's funny each time. Do the epilogue instance and then go to the West Taimi talk point. So the western one you're talking about up on this pyramid again now. While this is active? Because if I go in there, it finishes and it will throw me back to core story, just as we were a second ago. And it would essentially be the same situation as if I cancelled the episode instead. Yeah, always time to harass Flunt. Maybe it's now that I've got the achievement if I go and speak to her after everything's done. What do you think about that? Let's go speak to her now that we have the achievement. Maybe that's the big difference. Yeah. Someone else in chat is suggesting the same thing as well. I like that idea. Where are we looking? Over here, I think, somewhere. Am I a moron? It is over here, isn't it? Yeah, there you go. She's physically there trying to talk into that. I did earlier try and physically talk to her. The context-based F button didn't change, though. It was always just the orange contact Taimi and gave the same response. Like, she's not interactable. She's phased in a weird way. The only thing we get is the press F. So let's try this now that we got the achievement.
Hang on. I've been waiting for this moment since before the bloodstone exploded.
Oh, here it is.
Yes? Who is this?
This is Centurion Megapixor, Ruffler of the Iron Legion. Who's this?
You have the honor of speaking to Counselor Blunt of the Arcane Council.
Refreshing.
Oh, I was hoping you were someone important. Pay attention, flunk.
Blunt!
Whatever. Listen, punk. I just received my order of 10,000 hyper-kill death columns from your Rata Novus facility. I was dealing with a smart cub named Taimi. We agreed on 50 gold per unit cash. Is that still the deal?
Absolutely. I currently run the Rata Novus lab. I'll have my crew standing by to receive payment.
Oh, I'm not paying for them. I'm sending them to besiege your stupid lab in your stupid face. Iron Legion hates plagiarists.
She's supposed to be Char.
We'll be there soon, but you'll never see us coming. Till then, enjoy your stolen lab, squatter! That'll give that wrinkled old husk some sleepless nights. Now my work in Rata Novus is done.
Oh, I love how it... I mean, it's funny, but I love how it ends with just a little nod back to Rata Novus again. That was one of the strong points of Always Time for Taimi and POF in general, in that that's an element of the previous X-Pack that was still getting so many nods to it in this expansion that it still felt like a cohesive kind of world. It was really good. It was a nice way to break the boundaries of the business model. And I wonder whether Cogs of War, you know, when we're deep in Blood Legion homelands, when we're off in the far Shiver Peaks, when we're in Cantha, whether they'll still be talking about Amnoon to such a quality degree that it feels like it's still a big part of the game. Sorry that these players were spamming effects and stuff, so I had to throw this up in the middle and you guys couldn't have heard otherwise. But damn. Honestly, that was pretty cool. Does she have even more?
Taimi, do you read me?
Yes? Who is this?
Oh, I could highlight her for a second. Look at that. You can actually highlight her, but it's done weirdly in that I don't think... There you go. That's me pressing F on her right now and clicking it. This is... So yeah, we've got the full thing. Pretty cool. I have to say, it is pretty good. It literally connects the east and west end of the map. What, hearing her talk about Rata Novus while we are all the way out here. Taimi's voice actor is so good. The stuff she does in Daybreak is fantastic as well. Yeah, I mean, she's having fun here, and in just a moment in the timeline, she's going to get all kinds of messed up. Yeah, that's awesome. That's actually brilliant. That is very cool. Kraukatoric was there absorbing all the magic, so no massive explosion. That's how they make it look. Yeah. The idea is it wasn't a Bloodstone Fen level destruction because Kraukatoric literally just consumed it. I mean, and that's... This is where I want more bonus lore and lore books and stuff. Like, for just the quantity, the mass of it could be so heavy. It's so easy as a fan to find exciting things to talk about with the events. Do you know what? I just want the game to nod to the fact that... Listen to this, guys. 10,000 years ago, the Elder Dragons rose. The ancient races did everything they could to fight them, but ultimately failed. The one slim, slender victory that they had over the Elder Dragons way back then, I mean, they had a few, but one of the big ones was the Seers creating the Bloodstones, learning how to hide the magic from the Elder Dragons. Such a crazy magitech technology, right? Such proficient power that they had, that they sealed all this magic away, that they asked people to contribute to this, that this may have even been a sore point between them and the Messiah. A huge defining aspect of their struggles 10,000 years ago. For all its failure, this thin silver lining is that they had created the Bloodstone, that they had protected some magic, they had successfully hidden it from the Elder Dragon. That was their victory, a mighty victory over the Elder Dragon. And what happened here at the end of POF? Kraukatoric got the lion's share of one of them. Balthazar manipulated the people and destroyed one, took a shit ton of its magic, and that just got fed to Krauk. Like, that's like poetic, that's beautiful. That's like the failure of finally, 10,000 years in the making, in the unmaking, this thing has finally happened. The Seer's failure. Like, that's such a beautiful and awesome side of the story, I think. And Path of Fire doesn't even seem to be aware that that is a facet of the story, you know? And like, I don't know, I'd just like a little lore book or someone from the Priory geeking out over it in game, you know? I want to see these things being expressed because that's what's great about the world building and stuff. And it feels like when the game doesn't tackle what's amazing, then what's the point of it being amazing? Check Wooden Potatoes 2 channel. Oh, you're talking to someone else, sorry. Do you finally have the achievement done then? Is it all ticked off? Yeah. We just looked at it. I just finished it. Always time for Taimi. Tier 1, 2, and 3 done. 12 out of 12 objectives complete. You found time in your busy schedule to update Taimi on every event. We got it. We got it, which means that Crystal Desert, the whole section, is now done. Feeling pretty good about that. So the domain of Vabbi, there are some things I still want to do. I've never beaten the Earth Djinn Giladi the Radiant. I wonder where that is. That's a mastery point I've never done. I've never done Ziadir the Fearless either, the Water Djinn. So I've got to do the Water Djinn and the Earth Djinn. I've also got to do the Janundu event chain. Successfully complete the cadet training course using a Janundu worm in the ravine and hit all the bonus targets in a single attempt. I've never done that. There's so many little things I've still not done in this X-Pack. How are these sandworms coming out of the top of this pyramid? Right, but we wanted to do some more story-oriented things, right? Next, let's go back to Vabbi. As you guys will recall, there is a lore book in Vabbi. Oh, yes. Just as we've had in the Desolation, where we heard that fun stuff about the Order of Whispers, or Order of Shadows, sorry. We do have a lore book in Vabbi as well. Azuric might have it on him, so let's go have a look. What's the name of the axe? I can't remember. Luminous, maybe? Luminary? Something like that? Yeah, I haven't completed all yet. Still have tons more AP than me. Well, I'm probably more complete with the other X-Packs. You know, I've been more diligent in the past. And core, I'm probably more complete than you. What's this? Oh, yeah. These aren't actually AP-oriented. I've got everything. I mean, nearly everything in the game I have, to be perfectly honest. There's only a couple of weapons I haven't finished. And I'm getting really close. Now that I've been PvPing on Soul Beast, even Longbow's going up again now. Which, by the way, speaking of, 6 games. 6 games, and I'm done with everything I ever want to do in PvP, except maybe place higher in the season and do versatile. That's 200 games in ranked queues on every class, at least, minimum. Leaving my pie chart looking like this. I also went on a bit of a ludicrous win spree, I must admit, recently. I was Plat 3. I went from the bottom of Plat to Plat 3 without losing a game. I went on maybe a 14-game win streak, purely Soul Beast. 14-game win streak, it was nuts. And I only lost one earlier today because my team threw against boys and stuff, which was pretty lame. But yeah, alright, so the books. Which one? Garden of the Gods is... Oh, I'm going to have to wiki it, I'm afraid. Oh, no. Just tell me, chat. Which one is the Vabbi one? This is the... Sorry, the Desolation is this one. Intelligence report on Joko. Maybe that's the Vabbi one.
Searing flesh from bone.
I wonder whether I should give Sword Weaver another shot again. There have been some small sword buffs. You never know. It just feels so weak. So weak. I guess the Siphon doesn't do anything. Yeah, it's the Palawa Joko report. Okay, so I have these ordered correctly in Azuric's inventory. That's cool. Alright, let's go listen then. Yeah, sorry about the combat music. I was under 1 bleed again. 1 bleed. Oh, it's epic stuff. Oh, Path of Fire's got such a problem with that. I love McLean. I love the work that they do. I really think that it's so beautiful and awesome. But come on, guys. The way that combat music is used in this expansion is terrible. It's really bad. Where's a pretty place we should go? Let's just go out to the Bay of Elon and slowly skimmer along like a boat. Oh, no. I want to do it in Vabbi. What am I doing? I'm not doing it here. We got to go to the appropriate map. So what's a pretty area of Vabbi? I guess we can stroll through the garden while listening. How about that? The stream started about an hour ago, Drax. About an hour? I think it was. I don't know. How long did we rant before we got in game? Yeah, no, about an hour and a quarter. Right. And I guess at this point we're still Jackal, so let's do this. This Jackal is a little bit better typed. So here we go. Let's listen to the Palawa Joko intelligence report. Let me just make sure this is all good. Alright, it should be. Alright, listen up, guys.
Since his conquest of 1175 AE, the Lich King, Palawa Joko, has instituted a necroarchy, a regime run by his awakened dead. In life, King Joko provides for his subjects, with the understanding that they'll be awakened from death to serve him. Elonians look on this as an honor and a duty to their nation. They're defended by an army of their awakened ancestors. After driving King Joko's enemies, the Sunspears, to near extinction, his Morden Crescent turned to policing the kingdom. Though loyal subjects are granted some measure of freedom, King Joko acts swiftly to remove any disruptive influences. Exiles work the farms outside the kingdom's protective bone wall, and still must surrender their corpses to awakening. This arrangement has offered Elonians generations of protection from the many natural and magical dangers of the region. Though our order actively works to degrade Palawa Joko's rule, we also recognize him as a regional stabilizing force. There have been no recent sightings of King Joko on the continent since his unexplained crossing into the underworld. King Joko is a singularly powerful necromancer, but his long absence fuels hope that he's lost in the realm of death. Some in our order forecast the imminent collapse of Palawa Joko's regime, while others discourage such optimism.
So, unfortunately, the Vabbi one doesn't really have a bombshell. In fact, I kind of feel like the information we get out of this doesn't really match the acquisition process for it. Like, I think that the Whispers one's perfect because it's like a deeper story below the one you might be looking at, and it's like an extra thing that you get after you've done a ton of exploration, which works well. But the Vabbi one, like, to me, it should be every single player should hear that voice acting. That should be like an NPC teaching you about the necroarchy. And yeah, that is a badass word, isn't it? Necroarchy? Christ. That should be like golden pass stuff, I think. I reckon everyone should have that perspective about it, because it doesn't go very deep. It doesn't really pose any interesting, you know, side tangents or mysteries. So I don't know. The format of acquiring it feels a bit off to what it was in the end. But I love those. I still love them, and I wish that the Living World season had continued with those. It honestly would have been so nice. But yeah, there you have it. And we learned just a little bit more about Joko. There we hear that they recognize Joko as a stabilizing force, which is kind of the same as what we heard with the Desolation recording, in that they're not actually too... They don't care too much about uprooting him. But here we hear it's for more noble intentions. The Order of Whispers speculate that shadows don't interfere much because they want to use it to their own ends, but shadows suggest that they're not interfering much with Joko because he's a stabling force. Both may be true, but I really like that element as well, to compare this bit of extra lore with what we got from the Desolation before. Yeah, and that there about the Underworld too, we talked a bit about in the Desolation also, when we were near the Mouth of Torment. There's still a lot in the Desolation we didn't really show off much to do with the Mouth of Torment, I feel. Maybe we can go back to that. Right, but there's that. What else is like really heavy, important POF lore? for this last episode. Vitendi Academy. I'm going to go to the Academy, guys. I know that the garden's cool, but at the end of the day, they are just filler quests here, really, I feel like. They give you a little bit more of an insight into the Vabbians, and it's cool playing theater and teaching them how to act and stuff. But the one of Joko taking credit for everything we did, that's really important, I think. So let's go to the Academy. And then, I don't know, isn't that it, really? Then we're going to go visit Talcora and see what she says. And we're going to go visit the Tomb of the Primeval Kings and see what they've got there. Yeah, it does suggest that they didn't know about Balthazar. You're right, huh? So here, this is where the final instance was. Ideally, players would do this just before doing the final instance, but the way it's positioned is you don't really walk through this area of the world, so you might not, which is a shame. But right, so this place is pretty cool. This is the arena. This was a prominent place in Guild Wars 1, I think, where you defend from a ton of djinn. Nowadays, it's just like this pit-looking area. This was one of the places that I was quite shocked to come back to. We've talked about this on streams before when we came back through and did all the races and whatnot. The Academy is even further south, right? So there should be a road, if I'm reading the map correctly. Fingers crossed. Oh no, this is quicksand. That's not good. I might be dead. Can't dodge. It robbed me of all my endurance, yeah. And that was the Fury of the Brand. Alright, that was really silly. Alright, let's go down here. We'll go the other route. It would be more interesting if the Vabbi lore was on the previous map and vice versa. Yeah, maybe you're right. I think that they did it the other way though, because the Order of Shadows stronghold, if you will, is in the Desolation, and there's more Order of Shadows work going on there that you can see. But yeah, in terms of like when they portion out the information, you're probably right about that, man. Yeah, it was purely the sand, but I did get in the brand. It threw the message up. And I would have been struck by lightning. The reason I got instantly defeated was getting struck by the lightning. While in the sand. I think I would have just been DPS slowly by the sand, wouldn't I? Here's a scout. This will be some more voice acting, at least.
The Vitendi Academy educates students on our great lord, Palawa Joko. Cadets are divided into separate houses where they can thrive on competition and best one another. Praise Joko.
Vitendi. They say Vitendi? Ugh. I say so many of these words wrong. Do ArenaNet do this to spite me? Like, what have I ever instinctually said correctly within Guild Wars? Well, anything. Anything. Sol D'Alessio. I got Sol D'Alessio. Yay. There's one. Vitendi. I guess that's fair. Let's get the waypoint as well before we go exploring too much around here. We'll talk to the heart NPC here as well. Students of the Academy need our guidance and words of advice to mold their impressionable minds. As you explore the Academy, see if you can enlighten them about our king, Palawa Joko. Is there anything else I should know? Vitendi is a prestigious academy. No doubt there are countless students cramming for their exams. It's our job to help them succeed. And as you do so, please remember you are a guest here. And by that, what do you mean? I ask that you be on your best behavior. You're a role model for the students. And watch out for any house Rolik shenanigans. I suppose kids will be kids. Alright, okay. So we got the race. Covered that.
If you could assist us, we'd appreciate it.
Covered that substantially on the streams. That was a really fun race. Probably the best race of POF. Not race. What am I saying? Adventure. Sorry. I think you got human correct at one time in the distant past. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the confidence there on that. So, the Weaver trainer is here. We've missed a couple of the Elite Spec trainers. But I think when we started this series, we were covering them a bit more. Which armor is that? What? Mine or the NPCs? This is the Warbeast armor. Which I've dyed to be Desert King looking. With the Desert King backpack. Just for funsies. I wanted to change it up again one final time. So, and Warbeast was one of my favorite from the series. So I went back to War Beast, but I dyed it to look as different as possible before we were all edgelordy about it. So, yeah, there's lots of different houses. This is House Rolik. And there's so much dialogue in this heart, guys. There's so much. It's fantastic. And just different world building and things. Look at this here. Has anyone translated this? Cossage would probably know, right? Is this... What is this? It's a catapult firing at a cat? Is that a cat? Is that a representation of a char? When is this stream not edgelordy? Good point. This is definitely translatable. That's New Crichton there. Here we're showing launching a person, maybe? Is this the same from the Divinity's Reach orphanage? Is it? Well, I doubt they had Palawa Joko there in the orphanage, but that's next to it, and obviously it's a different asset. So yeah, there's some good...
King Joko is invincible, right?
Is he? Is he? I don't know.
Praise Joko.
King Joko is unbeatable.
Praise Joko.
King Joko is unbeatable.
Praise Joko.
Okay, children. I thought I could talk to them and teach them things that were wrong.
Today's agenda, the rise and fall of the Elder Dragon Zaitan.
Okay, so the Elder Dragon Zaitan. All right, guys, what do we got here? Let's see. Do you think King Joko kept the head of Zaitan as a trophy? Is it hanging on a wall somewhere? Or do you think he would let me see it? Okay, so we know that the tail is hanging somewhere. So what can we do? We can... I can't remember what the heart rewards you for. Is it troublemaking or is it actually... So, no, I don't. Ah, bummer. That's how it is, kid. No, well, Palawa Joko didn't actually fight Zaitan. What do you mean? He destroyed Zaitan with nothing but a deadly gaze. My companions and I defeated Zaitan, actually. Zaitan was an elder dragon. It died of old age. Palawa Joko tamed Zaitan, and now he flies around on its back. You're silly. Wow. Okay, so the reward is for being a killjoy. My companions and I defeated Zaitan, actually. Haha, good one. All right, we can try, though. All right, little girl. Do you think King Joko kept the head as a trophy? Oh, it's the same options? Really? Okay. Did we just say the same thing to everyone? I thought it was different each time. Oh, here you go. Did you know King Joko lifted Morgemoth with his pinky finger before smashing its head into a spike? I wonder if I could become that strong. So we had a lot of discussion in an AMA out of what this child's interpretation of his understanding of what Joko's told in the mouth of Morgemoth even was. But I really think unreliable narration could play a big part of this. That's not how it's happened. What are you talking about? So Morgemoth impaled its own head on a spike. I guess this is the commander's words and the commander calling the mouth of Morgemoth. Morgemoth is still alive and he's right behind you. Palawa Joko sat on Morgemoth's head and crushed it. Morgemoth smashed Palawa Joko into dust. Well, he hit his own head on a spike. Why would someone put a spike through their own head? I don't believe you. It's the truth. My history book mentions how King Joko's defeat of Abaddon. That's why he isn't around anymore. How did King Joko do it? About that. Tell me. Okay, Joko did a dance of destruction in front of Abaddon. Potentially could have. Would have gotten killed because if Abaddon was good at anything, it was serving his opponents. The Choya could learn a lot from him in his dance moves. Joko's wind blew with such force that Abaddon disintegrated. Joko sliced him in half with a sword made from his own rib bone. And I wonder if these two are references to things that are going over my head a little bit. And lastly, Joko didn't defeat Abaddon. No way. I read it in a book. It has to be, right? The book is wrong, child. Look at all of that, just for illuminating the masses. Sowing the seeds of doubt. Perfect. Right, let's go check out House Ingene Cadet.
All right, cadets. In our next lesson, we'll investigate the mysterious extinction of the local centaur population.
Very mysterious. All right, so the centaur's disappearing, guys. By the way, interesting UI here as well. Listen, I ranted about this before, and I'm not going to go into it again, but don't you dare ever let anyone ever say that the hearts in POF were crap. The only reason people would ever say that they're crap is because they don't want to put effort into them. These hearts are the best hearts that have ever been in this franchise. They are so high quality. They've got so many different things to do. There's so much detail in them. They're fantastic. All right, anyway, so these mysterious centaur disappearances. What do you think the centaurs were like before they became extinct? Well, let's see. Yes. They were spiritual people who worship nature and their ancestors. They could be ruthless, especially toward their enemies. They were excellent hunters, marksmen, and trackers. Centaurs aren't extinct. They haven't been eradicated. They've just been eradicated from this region. All 4 of these are true, but for what it's worth. All 4 of them. But I think that what the game wants more than anything else is this. This is the real mind blow for them. King Joko is so powerful. I think you missed my point. I like that. That's very clever. People will believe what they want to believe. Just worm their way through whatever logic you throw at them. Did you know King Joko lifted Morgemoth with his pinky finger before smashing his head? Well, we already did that, and I'm not going to get heart credit on things that don't matter. And Zaitan's head on a trophy. So we're going to get 1 centaur question? Okay. Let's move on. There's lots of other ambient dialogue going on between the children, too. There are other entrances between the rooms, which I'll go to in a second.
All right, cadets. In our next lesson, we'll investigate the mysterious
this is the same.
Of the local centaur population.
That's a shame. I wonder how much dialogue I'm missing then. It seems random. Centaurs. Oh, here you go. Why did King Joko invite Kraukatoric here? The truth is, what is it? He wanted to place Kraukatoric under his control. It's all a part of Joko's complex plan to demonstrate his true power. Joko didn't invite the dragon here. He wanted to form alliance with the dragon. You know, I think that Joko probably would have thought of this in his schemes, unless he knew a lot more about the Elder Dragons than he lets on, and we didn't get that lore in the end anyway in the most recent episode, so that makes me very sad. I already discussed it on a previous stream. Let's do Joko didn't invite the dragon here. That can't be. King Joko wouldn't allow anything here that wasn't welcome. I skipped a bit of our dialogue there, I'm afraid. I'm sorry about that. When do you think King Joko will return from his vacation? About that. He'll be back any day now. He's been held against his will. He's opted for early retirement. Hasn't he returned already? Have you been living under a rock? Or do you have inside information? He's being held against his will. Against his will? Ha! That's not even possible. So there you go. Then we're going to stand around with these guys a bit. This is good. We just have to wait for something to trigger and then get there in time. There's like an upstairs as well. There's like dormitories. I'm not sure how to get to them.
I think the odds are in our favor. 41% in our favor, in fact.
So we're talking about some kind of tourney. It's not printing to my chat log either, I'm afraid, so. As much as I'd love to give you some more. We missed that as well. Something about people bleeding out. Damn. Yeah, where are the dormitories? Costage is talking about music there. Oh, here's the main event. This is the real event here. Explorer Mora. We've missed a little bit of starting dialogue with the event, but listen to this.
This seems to depict Palawa Joko bestowing something on mankind. What's the inscription read? The gift of magic? But magic was a gift from the gods. I don't understand. The implication here is...
You got beat up in the name of Palawa Joko.
Okay, so this event's really cool. What you've missed from it so far is the guy's on the outside and he's like, I want to study this culture and these people and how they understand and think about the world. So let's go look at their art and stuff. And he's going to look at each of these images and see what's going on. And so the devs have made really cool art here. I love this. Showing how his propaganda is taking claim for any number of things. And we get to see a Corteria character, a member of the Dermot Priory, be gobsmacked, as we are as players feeling, experiencing this place. Honestly, this is one of the heights of all of PoF to me. I love this place, especially for open world. The only real regret is that it's just crappy defense mechanics. But hey. Yeah, I like the idea of this art as well. If you actually substituted this for a god, it's kind of a beautiful depiction, really. It's a shame in Corteria we don't get more stuff like that. All right, let's listen to him now.
Ah, now this is a more familiar tale. The Battle of Jahai. Hold on. This mural shows Joko killing Turai Osa. Nonsense. Joko was defeated and imprisoned. These people are rewriting history. Outrageous. And these poor students are none the wiser. Is there even a shred of truth depicted here?
No outsiders.
Alright, so there you go. I cannot help this whole rewriting of the truth and stuff. You know, I watched the Simpsons episodes like 2 nights ago, an old like season 6 Simpsons episode, classic Simpsons, where they were talking about it's an episode where they go to like a candy factory and they get like a gummy, a beautiful gummy woman, which gets stuck to the arse of the babysitter. So Homer tries to pull it off, and she thinks that she's being sexually harassed. So she gets a mob on him, and everyone on the news stations and TV starts calling him, you know, a deviant. No one wants to hear his side of the story, and they're all like just spinning a story. And it's a really, really awesome, you know, it was produced in the mid-90s, but it's such a beautiful reflection of some of the things we deal with today. And this is, you know, obviously thinking of the big Jessica Price thing that happened recently, and the way that various journalism sites spun that story in a mad search for a scoop. I was watching that Simpsons video episode about it. It's just so perfect. You guys should go back and watch it. And now I see this here, and the game touching on these things. I don't think Jessica worked on this content, though, did she? It's interesting to think of in so many ways. Anyway.
Fanatically, this school is feeding them so much misinformation.
Sorry, I just rambled through all of that. Let's read it out. I'm really sorry about that, guys. Oh my, is this Palawa Joko defeating Abaddon? I'm almost afraid to see what lies this mural depicts. You will remain this way until I've decided otherwise. Absorbing his power in place of Kourna? The implication is that Joko's a god? This explains why the people here worship him so fanatically. This school is feeding them so much misinformation. So yeah, just rewriting history, propagandizing everything, picking the narrative that they want, and just manipulating the facts to support it. I mean, this is outright lying. This isn't lies by omission, which is what we tend to come up with in the real world, come up against.
Let's be done with this. I see one.
There is an important
So here we go.
relay.
Last one. And I love the art again. The art of all of them is so cool.
I should have known. I'd laugh if it weren't so disturbing. Here, the great Palawa Joko defeats Zaitan itself. Of course. Single-handedly, no less. Though some say that of you, Commander. And we all know what it took to bring that monster down. To think Joko's people would be gullible enough to believe any of this. I suppose they couldn't fathom another with dominance over the Awakened.
I love that dialogue so much. So much about that is amazing. Look at all the awesome shit that they dig at there. The thought that Zaitan as the Elder Dragon of Death would have dominance over the Awakened. Like, that's it. That's it. That was everything that I was hoping for, that the main story about Joko would be. His connections to Zaitan and interactions. That's what Path of Fire gave us. Just that tiny little glimpse there. How the Awakened might feel about an Elder Dragon of Death. To think Joko's people would be gullible enough to believe any of it. I suppose they couldn't fathom another with dominance over the Awakened. Ah, it's so good. And then this line here as well. Single-handedly, though, no less, though some say that of you, Commander. It's beautiful. That drives like 3 really important things. It reminds us that we're not the be-all and end-all. It puts the scope of that conflict into perspective again and reminds us that in lore it was a huge war of attrition and battleground. And it talks a little bit about the whole stealing glory thing. It's so good. The art is good. Place of learning, I called it. Let's be done with this madness. And he starts leaving, and I think there's one final thing here, which isn't interesting, but...
You die for Joko! Adrenaline surging! Kill him!
This was a most disappointing experience. But I thank you for your help. Now I suppose I must search elsewhere for answers.
And off he goes. I mean, I have to say, this is not the first stream we've looked at this, but as a part of the series, that is, if I was going to do a top 10 dynamic events list, and particularly framed around like lore that they divulge and stuff, that's easily in the top 10. That's one of the best dynamic events in terms of how it's written, what it discusses, how it gets us to get more detail out of this world and setting. It's one of the best dynamic events that they've ever done. Ever. It's so good. Everything that story-wise a dynamic event should do, that does it, and it wraps itself up really neatly. It's not like crucial. It's brilliant. Really, really, really happy with it. Now let's go up to the dormitories if we can. We got a little bit of heart left. Also, really awesomely, that event doesn't give too much heart progress. So there's some buckets of gunk and pranksters over there, which is going to be another facet of this. So here's the headmaster's office with bookshelves. This bookshelf contains a wide array of scrolls on the history of Palawa Joko, organized chronologically from the prepubescent Palawan primer to Palawa Joko Conqueror Creator King. Take one. Does it put one in my inventory? What does it do? I don't know this mechanic. Does that really say the prepubescent Palawan primer? So it's for young adults, I guess. Or kids, really. The bookshelf holds a collection of scrolls on advanced combat training, including Surprise, the Confessions of a Sucker Puncher, and how to bring a knife to a cannonade fight and win. Oh, you fetching the books for the blue cadets, are you?
No running.
This bookshelf contains an array of geography scrolls, including the United Kingdom of Alona, a Griffin's Eye View, and Joko's World, an atlas of awakened authority. I would love to read these books. This bookshelf contains an impressive selection of scrolls covering the details of necromancy and corpse preservation, such as reaping the benefits of the shroud and specializing in the spectral. Here's the thing that always strikes me about ArenaNet. When you get moments like this, same as when you find graveyards, but it always seems to happen when they hint at books. Like when we went to the Dermot Priory, for example, the archives, and some of the other bookshelves and libraries we've met. The devs do seem to know what would be really cool, immersive, interesting literature. They seem to know, because like these titles are so tantalizing and exciting and expressive, and like they take a door that's only cracked open and they really push it on its hinges, right? It's so exciting, specializing in the spectral, the benefits of the shroud, and they seem to know bang on what we would love to see as the lore community. But they never actually give it to us. They never have the time to actually do it. And that's the eternal frustration as a lore enthusiast for me. Like, this is so cool. Imagine if you could read that. It's never going to live up to your wildest imaginative speculations. You know, it can only be a small snippet. I know that. But just give me a little bit more than a title. It feels like such a tease. This bookshelf contains numerous scrolls, including popular titles like Coco with Joko, poems for young followers of Palawa, and Lich Please, the Vabbi Noble's Guide to Dignified Comportment. See, I think that the Istan one was really good, because it gave you that teaser, and it even gave you an excerpt.
Walk, please.
And
No
that's enough of a balance for me, what they did in Iscan. I roared with enthusiasm about that. But I feel like I can't with a lot of these other ones. And Istan seems to have been a one-and-done sort of deal. We haven't seen that enthusiasm on the others. So here, by the way, is a crucial event for the Griffin acquisition. So it is kind of a golden path area here for Epilogue stuff in terms of acquiring the Griffin, which we've done streams on in the past. But depending on how the account binding works, I'm not sure. But this is a Sunspear here. And they talk about the Sunspears, and you actually recruit this Sunspear for the Sanctuary and stuff out the back of the academy. So that's one other profound thing in this area. And there's even traps and things that come in this vent, so it is a pretty nicely designed part of this area of the map. You honestly get a lot of quality. We'll do the event, why not? We'll do it. We're in no rush.
Here, my boots. A bit scuffed, but still formidable. I think there's a metaphor in there somewhere. Ow! and a rock.
Hey, thanks very much for the sub, Durin Hall. I've barely looked at my notifications.
They hunt us relentlessly. In a way, I welcome it.
Oh, Nike describes it quite well. AAA ambition, AA budget.
Sunspears are now few.
That is a nice way of putting it. Maybe I'd shuffle the A's around a bit. Maybe there'd be a B or a C in there somewhere. But yeah, I get what you mean. Depending on the facet of the game. That's a really good way of describing Guild Wars in a lot of ways. Yeah, let me look at these notifications because I haven't for ages, just while this event mindlessly goes on. Durindal, thank you very much. I had a 1 viewer host from Joe Ramsey. Cheers, dude. Jeremiah 9, thanks very much. Tris J, thank you very much. That's Prime. So don't forget, you can do that for free.
These were a gift, you know. Lady Dia Ironsea slapped me in the face with the left one. Then she gave me the pair. I can feel the lovely sting like it was yesterday. In any event, let's move on, shall we?
Okay, what else we got? Ewendel, an hour ago. Hey, just got a year of Prime. Dude, congrats. Hey, WP, did you know that I've not spent a single penny subscribing to you by using this? Oh, he's shilling for me, guys. Did you know I have not spent a single penny subscribing to you by using the service known as Twitch Prime? I'm not sure what you know whether this service is, but it lets you subscribe to one of your favorite Twitch streamers every month absolutely for free. And now he's a whole year down. He's got his special extra badge. And yeah, that's super cool, dude. Thank you very much. You too can do it in seconds. Twitch Prime. Yay. Arachi, thanks very much. Happy Monday. Excited for the patch tomorrow? I am actually, yeah. I'm pretty goddamn excited. We'll see how much depth it's got to it, but I am excited. What I'm really hoping is they do the Festival of the Four Winds double thing here, and then we get 2 weeks of that into a raid release. I don't want to see the next raid release waiting on a Living World patch. If they do a raid release after that, that bridge between this episode and the next episode will be really sweet. Because what you guys have to understand is it was Kourna came out, 2 weeks balance, 2 weeks festival, 2 weeks raid, and then maybe just like 1 month of waiting for the next Living World. That's a really good cadence. For people who enjoy everything that Guild Wars has to offer, that's a good release schedule and cycle. Even if Kourna itself was very weak, and as we all know. So, yeah, I'd like that. That's what I'm hoping. Fingers crossed.
Again. That's going to make my soon-to-be dead enemies jealous, no?
Sorry, I'm covering this story really crappily. Like, really crappily. They already said raid releases are tied? No. Historical ones have been tied. But I'm pretty sure everyone... I mean, I don't know anyone who still is a sincere advocate that has worthwhile opinions about the game anyway for triple releases. I mean, I'm a bit jaded as a content creator by it, but even most players that I speak to genuinely don't see the value in a triple release anymore because it's just too much to ask people to spit to all the time. Nobody likes that feeling of being like, oh, I kind of want to do the story, but I have to raid right now because all my friends want to race for World First, or, you know, like you don't, or some of my friends are doing the fractals, some of my friends are doing the raid, some of my friends are in Limber World. It's not a choice that is nice to have hoisted upon us. It's just healthier. Everything about the entire game, about the way that people can cover this stuff, it's all much healthier if it's not triple releases, or double releases even, I would say. Split them apart. I've been an advocate before it started happening for triple releases because it just sounds so big and badass and exciting and wonderful. But the reality is that they don't get much extra publicity for having a big bullet-pointed list like that. They haven't. It's not paid off more on the broader scheme, so separate them out.
For this ugly pot, I'd have lost my crooked nose half a dozen times. And that doesn't count battles. That just leaves Rashi. Beloved Rashi.
Maestron says, did you know that you could become an Amazon affiliate and shill and have a link selling Amazon Prime? Then after they buy Prime, they can get them to use Prime to subscribe to you. Dude, that's like the ultimate cash cow right there. And Jeff Bezos is the one to profit. That's crazy. And me as well, I guess. That is actually kind of crazy. I don't know. I get very scared of the whole shilling thing. Listen, if I'm going to shill anything, please, please, please consider using Patreon. That's all I ask. That's literally the only thing. If you like, even remotely like what I do, I can give you real, genuine benefits from that. and I can actually factor that into as a real income for me. So just Patreon, please. And I don't know whether I want to abuse goodwill like that. I was joking in the Games Masters channel yesterday, last night I think. Oh no, what was it today? About like how can we monetize Discord, like as a joke. How can we get more money out of people? And we were thinking of doing like a tipping system on MOX, our Discord bot. But you know, I'm scared of all that kind of stuff. I don't know.
Let's add to it, shall we?
Missing more dialogue. This is such a long event as well. All right, now he wants to recover equipment. We've got 7 out of 7 now. And so we're moving through. All right, let me scroll down on chat. Sorry, I was up a bit. How similar do you think FOTFW and 2018 will be to 2014? Sorry, what's that acronym for? Oh, Festival of the Four Winds. For example, Ellen and Evan activated activities in 2014, and there's a screenshot of them with new attire for 2018. Will they? I mean, yeah, I think there'll be a lot of difference. The devs, the way they've talked about it, is it sounds like there's big changes there. It sounds almost Living World release sized. I don't know. Maybe that's me hyping myself up too much. But it sounds like there's a lot going on. They said like multiple new events. There's a new meta there. There's a new story wrapper around it. There's new rewards and loot. They've changed the mobs that are in the Crown Pavilion side stuff. They've added challenge modes for the boss gauntlet. There's a lot of new stuff. I mean, I don't know. So this is great. This is what I was showing you, the traps. We have to jump some and not jump others because it's knocked back on each of those. And then we can blow this guy up. Kind of don't want that weakness on there, but whatever.
Such might.
Breaking his bar. My weapon sets are all kinds of messed up. Oh, that was all way too loud. Sorry, guys. Oh, I had a donation, did I? Oh, I did. Ewendall. But Patreon takes a cut. Yeah, well, everyone's always got their fingers. Someone takes a cut whenever you donate on Twitch. People take big cuts when you sub on Twitch. Patreon takes a reasonable cut, but not a major one. Everyone's always got the mittens all over it.
Think of me every time you plunge your weapon into the guts of a Mordant Crescent, eh? Good fortune, friends.
All right, there you go. That was so not worth doing on stream because I covered it so badly, but there you have it. And again, thanks very much, Ewendall. Oh god, I was looking at chat and I thought that was ground and now I'm falling all the way. Mind you, this is still the heart down here, right? So we can do this. Check out the Djinn. So the Djinn's influence, the water Djinn will escape with the cadets in 9 minutes. To reduce his influence, I need to take out these shades, which have been transformed. There you go. Interesting. So he has a break bar. He's like a VG mob, isn't he? So they die and then you have to break their bar to finish them off. That's a cool system. I'm surprised we haven't seen that more in recent Living World and POF. It was done a little bit in Heart of Thorns, if I remember. And obviously in the raids. What other convincing CC do I have? The 5 and the 4 don't have CC. I guess just throw axe at people a lot. That should work. Oh, does the Harpy do the same, I wonder? The amount that Twitch takes, I don't think they want people talking about, first of all, so I'll be very vague about this. But also, it's different depending on how big you are. If you're like some internet big shot because you play Fortnite and all the little kiddies watch you, or Minecraft or whatever, whatever the current fad is, you get bigger cuts. I guess IRL streaming is the big one right now, right? Jesus, these CCs are so annoying. I think that was the ATK that got me on that one. Let's full counter that. That should get that break bar. And now we've got 1 ammo for this one here. Oh, I've got to get a lot of cadets, man. This is crazy. How many do they want me to go for? Should have probably saved that Bull's Rush. Can I kill the Djinn now? Oh, I can. And we can move him out. So this is the point. Yeah. We're just on the health bar phase now. Guess I'll proc the Signet, because why not? I really should put better weapons on. If we can get that bar, we did, but a bit awkward. Good. There, nice.
I submit. I will concede defeat. Understand, though, that improprieties like these can never be completely excused or forgotten.
Alright, so you just sampled a hell of a lot that the Vatendi, that's how they said it, right? Vatendi Academy has to offer. So the heart done. Natalie, I've received reports that you gave the students misguided information. I can't believe them to be true. What I can believe, however, is how much the students value your teaching. And I can tell that you have their best interests at heart. You're a true educator. And please, feel free to visit us anytime. Should we see the wares? I never went up to the dormitories in the end, but you guys can do that, obviously, if you like. Do you think we'd ever tackle a race-specific episode so we could regroup with our races and see what's new there? You mean domestic stories? Like literally a whole Living World release dedicated to happenings with our warband back at the Black Citadel, and it only really makes sense or is playable if you are a Char main? Well, I have quite a few thoughts on that, actually. First and foremost being that your gut is going to say no, because not everyone has a Char, but I'll counter with another thing. ArenaNet has destroyed the integrity of its game through so much account binding at this point that I actually 100% believe they could get away with doing that. Like, for example, type to me in chat right now if you don't have a single Char character. And importantly, if you don't have, if a Living World release came out for Char characters, for a single character on your account that was a Char, you would be super bummed out, or you would just treat that as incentive to just get one. Because I reckon that it's a very thin slice of people who don't have a Char, say, and it's an even thinner slice of those who would then refuse to get a Char for the sake of that instance. I think most people would just hit that with open arms and say, oh yeah, well, I've wanted a new character for a while, so let's do it. You know, that fear that there'd be rage or you can't do it because it's only a fifth of your player base. It's kind of nonsense at this point with this game. Everything's account bound. There's tons of tomes and stuff. Like, it just... It's not a demo worth worrying about. So there's certain freedoms I think the developers have unlocked by doing what they've done that they don't even take advantage of. So I actually think you could do it. Will they, though? I don't think so, because I think they're too scared. I don't think they have an appreciation for what I just said. Or you're saying a Living World release that is actually 5 Living World releases all at once. I don't think they'd ever do that. It's too much work. And to compromise, it's the too much butter, too little bread. Too much bread, too little butter thing that we saw when the game originally came out anyway. There you go. Like, oh, I just deleted a Char, but I still have the female one. Like, come on. People have this stuff. They have it. And even if you are a player who doesn't have a Char, flat out refuses to get a Char, and doesn't have the capability to because you have no tomes, you have no level boost, you have no... You just started playing the game, all right? If you're that player, you have epic amounts of content to play anyway. All right, let's say you're that player and you also refuse to do the epic amounts of content. You have to play the most recent thing, and you're crying about it on the internet, and you have to be listened to. You can even it's an MMO. You could just play it with another person. I, as a Norn at level 80, can play Asuran's story. I just party up with an Asuran newbie player. So you would just party with a mate or a guildie or something who has a Char. It's like... These boundaries, they exist in people's brains, but not in the practical experience that Guild Wars offers. It just doesn't. So you could do a release like that. Easy. Alright, let's see the... Natalie, I've heard complaints from the faculty that you're spouting lies about our king. The students say the same, though they think you're only joking. Surely none of this is true. I don't know anything about that, boss. Do you have anything you can offer? Alright, so what we got? Coal, beans, water, wildly inaccurate textbook. You may not be the world's foremost historian, But you are confident that Joko did not, in fact, force the Elder Dragons to submit to him. That's hilarious. We get the funerary incense. I can actually buy one of these. Inscriptions. I mean, the POF vendor rewards are so awful. And a mini I've already got. The Death Seer. Right, let's go see Kourna, and I guess I will walk there. And we'll see what she does. There's various other areas of Vabbi, but just like I've done on the other episodes of this series, this hasn't been fully inclusive. There's lots of fun areas of the Desolation we didn't go to. There's lots of all kinds of things. Now, let me just be clear. For anyone watching this on Wooden Potatoes 2 and kind of wants to know what POF was, at this point, once you beat the last story step, okay, at this point, before Living World Season 3 came out, what was happening is players that were still exploring the game were sometimes getting drops from mobs that they were never getting before. They were getting, like, giant beast droppings and enormous feathers and weird shit like that. And it was like, what is this? Where has this come from? I don't understand. And the flavor text on these things was asking you to visit a library... a Beastmaster at the Garden of Saborin. You'd speak to the Beastmaster and you'd say, oh, yeah, these items are weird. I don't know. Maybe you should check to the southeast. And generally speaking, it just sort of vaguely led you. It was like there's something more going on with the game, even after the epilogue. And it was leading players vaguely over here. And so that's where we're going to now. Yeah, it was literally weird shit. It was droppings, giant droppings. And the flavor text was like casual speculations about it, such as... I don't know how... Oh, this is annoying. We need to be under stuff so that we can get on the grid, on the jackals, so that we can go through the portal. Oh, now something else has attacked us, so I'm in combat. It's a tiny little branded human. I love how he feels like a tiny little human, probably because I'm playing a Norn right now. Sweet, we full countered the lightning. That's hilarious. Alright, there we go. We're out of combat. So where are we here? At the Yano Plateau. And so this Jinn bubble has protected us. And we got some guys. Seeker Chihan. The storm has cleared enough that I can try to make the climb. I wonder if whatever called me here in my dreams is what drove the storm away. Anyway, wish me luck. This Jinn. The dragon's power is almost overwhelming. I will not let it defeat me. Actually, hold on. This is another point of lore discussion that this series should include. It's the fact that in the branded areas of the map here, the Jinn are holding the branding at bay, suggesting that the Jinn have magical capabilities to resist the dragons. Something once before we'd only really associated with divine magic and divine energies. So that perhaps allows us to associate the Jinn with the divine magics. The Jinn in general are pretty phenomenal, and there's a lot of sad, interesting stories about the Jinn in this map. What are you doing out here? We swore to protect this land long ago, and we're still bound by that promise, so we do now what we can to hold back the branded. We? I only see you, I ask. He says, there are others, but we are few, and the brand is large. Look for our light as you venture deeper, and we will offer you what short solace we can. How long can you keep this up? Until there's nothing left of us, if that's what it takes. The Jinn will not allow Vabbi to fall to the dragon's corruption. Now, you guys might think, okay, that's kind of interesting, but what's it actually relevant to? You have to understand that there's a very high probability that at some point in Living World Season 4, we will go to a hidden underground city crafted and maintained, protected by the Jinn. The hidden city of Adashim. It's kind of Guild Wars 2's analog, or the Guild Wars franchise's analog to like the hidden city of El Dorado or whatever. We got to visit in Guild Wars 1 where the princes of Vabbi went to flee from Nightfall. 2 of them did. And it's an awesome place. You can actually find the ruins of the entrance in this map. And I'm sure that we'll go back there at some point. We'll interact with Salt Sprays. We'll find out about Shiny. I mean, we've got to. It may not be an entire release that we get to go back there, but at least it's just a Living World section of a map. A bit like how Farina was delivered to us. I'm sure we will go back there. And the Jinn will get another look at. So, yeah. They're in full force, hanging out. Another Seeker. So you notice the dialogue here is dealing with post-Path of Fire stuff. This is after this story. Balthazar has fallen, hasn't he? And the dragon has moved in response. The dreams were true, so it would appear. See, so this section of Vabbi actually takes place later in the timeline than the end of those last instances. Kralkatorrik has flown off somewhere, and to the east I can see clear skies from my dreams. But I see the storm rages over the brand. That was a part of the speculation as to where Living World might take us, because we were wondering where Kralkatorrik was going. We thought that Living World Season 4 was all going to be about following Krakatorik. In the end, it hasn't really been. If we could just see through the portal around the bend, we'd already be inside. Where's a jackal when you need one? I wish I could help. Well, we do have a jackal, so let's go through. Crap. I didn't go into the portal properly. And now we're on a time limit to get into the next one. Here, let's go into here. I don't want my jackal to die. Where are we? I think I ballsed up. I think we need to go back in here. Let's get some respite from this. This is a mastery point at the bottom down here. Oh, let's just try and spring a climb. I'm going to try and spring climb. There is like a jackal route with the seekers and stuff. Let's try this one on a jackal if we can. Hopefully this counts as a roof above our head for the lightning. It does. I love how they use a line of sight, vertical line of sight mechanic here. It's so cool. The devs were really smart about how they did this map. This mechanic on this map. Okay, through that one. And now we're higher. We never made it to that one before. You notice lots more old ruins. Largely, I believe this is of Forgotten design, not Sunspear or anything. Rich Mithril. Another one. And we're still not quite there, are we? Did that just take us in a bit of a circle? I think we want to go north. So here, by the way, is the speculative exit to the map that the road potentially was. So I was actually really hoping that the most recent release, Long Live the Lich, was going to create a portal here. So if you look at the map, it's clearly got a road here. And you'd think that this would lead you to Kourna. And not only would this take you to Kourna, but it would take you to a very exciting area of Kourna as well, with the Baddock Caverns, the Chantry of Secrets, I almost forgot my name, and even perhaps the Fortress of Jahai, which you can see on the map there. That's it there. But so the map would be like this maybe, or even bigger. But instead, we got this little chunk all the way down here, and there is no connective map, so still potential, maybe? I don't know. The problem is it's just all this stuff, and it's like, what can the devs have time to get to? So yeah, I wanted to show that off. And then we come over here. Now I've buzzed this up now, haven't I? The Griffin Roost, we were near it, apparently. I've buzzed this up. Failed miserably. That looks like an exit portal, not an entrance. Let's go this way. Yeah, where the hunger died. Yeah. I'd love to see more. It's too much for me to ask of Path of Fire to deal with Krakatorik, Balthazar, Joko, and also give me tons of stuff on, you know, the conclusion of Torment Demon stories and all that other stuff. I get it. And Marganites. I get it. I understand why so little of that history of this area of the world is touched on. It's because looping it back around to Abaddon all the time is not necessarily fun. Here you go. I think there is a pure jackal route. I just don't know it. Anyway. Like, you see that there? I think you shoot up through it or something, maybe. But here we go. So, because I already did all of this on my account, all the runes are lit, all the collections are done, all the griffins are here, all the NPCs are here. What can I do? We meet again. Any trouble getting here? Getting here wasn't half as difficult as leaving my post in the Riverlands, but I won't be away long. Anything change after Jabori's defeat? I don't know. We don't get the story, do we? It's done. There's no reset mechanism. Now, there are these volumes, which are amazing, by the way. But we already did loads of content on these. This took hours to go through all of it, so I'm not doing it here on this stream. The content already exists, guys. Please just don't be scared to look on the Wood and Potatoes 2 VODs and on my main channel to get the details of this. You can look at my Griffin acquisition stuff if you want the further story once you're done watching this. But it's just so much, and this is the last stream, so... Remains the last Spear Marshal. You've done a great deal to preserve the Sunspears. Thanks to you, there's hope. The rebuilding's just begun. And then we can ask her about that. How can you be awakened and have free will? When Joko attempted to awaken me, I believe Cormir intervened. So some of them do have free will. Talcora thinks it's because of Cormir. But, who knows? Who knows? So, if I go back to the Tomb of the Primeval Kings now, then, does it let me into that version of the library? Or is that... Like, what you guys need to understand is there's a whole instance of the story, really. I mean, there's tons of quality storytelling that we just don't get. Any idea on where the VODs might be? I have a YouTube channel called Wooden Potatoes 2, and every VOD for every stream I've done for the past year-ish is on there. So, you just have to find it. Unfortunately, they're all titled kind of terribly. And I don't have playlists set up of any of it. Because streaming is very much a little thing to me on the side of YouTube. I mean, I'm very consistent with streaming. I'm more consistent with streaming than YouTube at sometimes, but that's only because if you're not consistent with streams, it completely just destroys every semblance of being worth doing it. Just no one will tune in anymore. If it's a gamble, whenever you turn it on, whether they're going to be there or not, it's ridiculous. This is really dangerous to miss a single stream, so... And streaming's easy. YouTube videos I care a lot about if they're good or not. Streams, it's like, I'll just rant about the same shit over and over and over again. And I'll only have regrets when someone does a super edit of me wanting to punch myself in the face. So, yeah. Hey, WP, loving the LP. You taking a break from it since it's been so long? Yeah, just a little break because we have all the Kourna stuff to cover. All the Kourna coverage to cover. And then the Jessica Price stuff drained me quite a lot. But after today's video and the Zephyrite coverage tomorrow, you should be seeing the LP come back pretty soon. So let's see, when we go in here, what will happen? Can we see Abaddon's version of this? Like with the mount contracts I deleted? What do you mean? Finding the old streams? Oh, look, no, we're not... Oh, no, we are. Reopen portal. Here you go. So I wonder where it will take us, though. Will we get the keys and the chests? The portal to Cormir's Sanctuary has been reopened. This is so cool. This is one of the best assets of Path of Fire. Look how cool that is. That is such a fucking awesome asset. To really love this, you have to be a Guild Wars 1 player, right? Guild Wars 1 players had a version of, like, a portal to the Realm of Torment that looked a lot like this. The colors and stuff was very similar, but it was much more simple looking and low res and, you know, 2007 production quality. This looks so cool. It's, like, perfectly done. It's how you'd want a sequel. It's everything you imagine it to be, but just looks awesome now. What a cool asset. No, it looks like the Guild Wars 1 animation, but it's way more detailed and fluid and beautiful. Okay, so we get to go inside. This library's a part of me, and I'm a part of it. As it fades, so do I. Can we save any of it? You're here for the writings of the last Spear Marshal, aren't you? Cormir must have foreseen this. She set them aside in protected chests. How do I get them? There are 10 here. I can show you where they are. The keys have been taken by the demons, taken by my fellow librarians, my friends. Where did these demons come from? Abaddon held this place for a long time before Cormir came. In her absence, his former minions have started to return. So, you get the dialogue. And you can explore... Oh, no, the minions are here. There are at K. This is so annoying, though, because these are just, like, generic Underworld Grent minions that were already implemented in Guild Wars 2. These aren't Torment demons or anything. But, I mean, that's the cost of the budget here, right? Oh, look. Elite Fallen Guard over there. So you can re-explore, but just with no meaning or proper through line. He's got a key. He is a key hoarder. Okay, so they sort of halfway, sort of semi-ish did it. So this isn't, like, forever lost. I popped the Signet there accidentally, but I'll take the Adrenaline. Full counter was terrible there. We got a good dodge, at least. Oh, what's this animation? He time jumps to avoid the chilling... Oh, no, I need to time my jumps to avoid the chilling pulse. I thought they were talking about him jumping through time. Let's get Mage Bane on, a couple of stacks of Berserker's Power. Another one, that one should land, right? Yeah, well, we can't full counter the Shockwave, but we did mitigate it. That's interesting. Cormier's lost library key used to open chests containing lost Sunspear writings. So yeah. I'm guessing the chests still spawn. She said she'd mark them on my map, but I don't see them anymore. So maybe I can't get an actual chest. No, Jules, I appreciate you being nice, but if you watch that super edit, honestly, I sound like such a douchebag. It's unbelievable. It is truly, truly unbelievable. It's like when I realized how offensive and grating my nerd voice is, like, that I'll do even to make fun of myself, but when I listen back to it, it's just like the most obnoxious nails on a chalkboard. Oh, Christ sounding thing. Don't they ping on the map? I don't see any pings. I suppose it's at least a start that we can come here. What's in the secret room in here as well? I don't remember. A lot of this information's falling out of my head again. I'm in Ellie main. Where is the scepter or sword dagger weaver? I played a lot of that when it came out, but I don't like it very much. Also, I wouldn't really consider myself an Ellie main anymore. Also, this entire series has been on Warrior. Where you been at? God, I do like the colours. We look good underwater, don't we? Probably chalk a lot of that up to the back piece. Where is it? Can't remember. Is it under this? I'm assuming it's under that. Yeah, it is. Here you go. The blues aren't the same triggered. Ugh, come on. The thing with the Warbeast stuff, in my defense, they don't look the same underwater, but out of water they do. Well, they almost do. But in my defense, it doesn't die properly, right? If you, just to show you, if I want them to be, say, orange, yeah, orange seems pretty reasonable. So let's get Imperial Gold. No, that's not orange. Let's get Destroyer orange, and we try and make them orange. If you actually look, oh no, that one works. Look, a lot of them don't work. A lot of them don't work. They just go pure raw white or something. And you can't sort of get around it. It probably depends on the zone you're in as well. So this is still here, and you can just sort of see tattered pages of ash falling around. This is kind of beautiful. Alright. Well, there you go. I'm not being funny, but I think that's our Path of Fire playthrough done. The quality of this has been very variant. When we started, we were so precise and careful with the camera and the graphics. We put as much effort into these streams as I was onto the actual LPs. Well, not as much effort, but a reasonable amount of effort. And it just sort of we weren't doing spoilers, and it just sort of slowly fell away over the later episodes. But it's a project done. All right, guys, the last thing to talk about here on today's stream. And yeah, I know today's stream's a bit longer than normal, and Saturday's was a bit longer than normal, but the game was down yesterday, so we couldn't stream, so it's fine. Oh, talk to the ghost. Is there a ghost? Oh, there is, Nana. The next thing is, what do we want to do next?
I can't believe the gods would just abandon us. Well, I guess what's done is done. It is what it is. Life goes on.
I didn't think I'd ever see you again, Commander. What does this mean? Balthazar's been dealt with. It seems we were both rewarded for our trials in the Domain of the Lost. Are you actually safe here? Mostly. The things outside... This is the woman that helped us find her name, remember? She was in the Domain of the Lost too, and she was sent here. Only for it to be abandoned. Are you safe here? Mostly. The things outside haven't found their way into this inner sanctum yet, and I just can't bear to let all this wisdom be forgotten. I'll stay as long as I can. Have you seen any books on the Sunspears? Cormier did preserve some writings, but they're out there with the demons. I haven't managed to obtain any, though I suspect they're still safe. They've locked inside sturdy chests. Why were you in the Domain of the Lost? I suppose my life's purpose had gone unfulfilled, leaving me lost. A teacher cannot teach lies, and that's all Joko left me. So I fled his kingdom and died soon after. So listen, guys, I know this, guaranteed. Every single one of you watching this, and especially those of you in chat, all of your lives' purposes are going unfulfilled. How do I know this? Because you're wasting your time watching Wood and Potatoes, all right? And so just a word of warning, you too could end up like Nana unless you get out there and accomplish your dreams, all right? Get off of Twitch, unsubscribe, unfollow, Unless you like the look of this cool library. In which case, I'll meet you there, because I'm definitely ending up here. Feels bad, man. All right. Okay, but seriously, next project. I'm going to wave on Natalie now. It's been a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you're even remotely tempted to talk about any your experiences with this, having watched it on Wood and Potatoes 2, please feel free to in the comments. And voila. Now, what do we want to do next? First, before I propose any of my own ideas, let's just explain the situation. I don't really like streaming. I think raid streams are the most boring things in existence. I think fractal streams, I think any of that generic bullshit that people tend to watch on this website is pretty boring, and I'm not that engaged with, right? That's just my personal preference. It's not a judgment of people who watch it. So I don't want to do streams like that. I also have found I don't really enjoy doing streams just getting random achievements and collections and stuff. Guild mission streams and stuff, typically, they're all not that great. So what I try to do is like pick an idea, like a theme, and then we do it. So like Zero to Hero, or Merciless, or I don't know, Skills Challenge, or you know, we tick or the Nightfall playthrough that we did in Guild Wars 1. We pick an idea, we go through it. This Path of Fire playthrough we've just finished. So now the question is, what do we want to do next? So before I propose my ideas, what do you guys want to see the next batch of streams on? And we will vary it up. We'll do streams on news. We'll take breaks to do contemporary content. Next weekend, we'll very likely be in the festival, the Four Winds show, and off all of that new stuff. I'll always like ride that wave of like hype or whatever. But what do we want to see the next thing? Before I put mine, what do you guys want to see? Let's hear it in chat. I just want to get an idea. Does anyone have any ideas? And it's going to be Guild Wars. I don't want to do other game streams. No one would tune into those. Dungeon streams? Nah, well, I don't think so about that. Living World review, like Istan, locations, NPC story. We already did that, Demef. We already, every time a Living World episode comes out, we do that in depth, man. Wake up. Open your eyes. Look at Wood and Potatoes 2. Do an RPG walk from one side of the world map to the other. You know, I was actually thinking with dedicated streams, one thing that I thought would be quite fascinating is take a character, say, you know, so I play Soul Beast at the moment. I'll show you. This is kind of one of the things I do as a PvP streamer. Most PvP streamers get really boring in the downtime between queues. They just stand there, they sit there in silence. They don't have anything like interesting or tangible going on that keeps the audience hooked outside of using chat, right? Which is good and fine. And, you know, again, this isn't me judging people. But one thing I've always thought would be pretty good for that downtime is you make a new character, you level it to 80, you start PvPing on it. But between queues, you are getting 100% core Tyrian map completion, but you can't use mounts and you have to have toggle walk on at all times. So it's how you're a PvP stream, and you're PvPing back to back as fast as you possibly can. Always PvP, always dealing with the PvP builds and stuff. However, just in all those queuing moments, you're just /walk getting map completion. And you just see how many days, weeks, months it takes to finish like a single map. And then another map, and then another map, and then another map. And you just have that as like a really long-term thing going on in the background. I think that'd be kind of cool. Like a silly, meaningful thing to do in downtime. Alright, what else are people saying anyway? Didn't I want to film walking across the map on all mounts? Maybe I want to make some roller beetle mount races. Review old Wood and Potatoes videos. That's a weird idea. A bit self-indulgent. I think not. Guild Wars 2 API development stream, poggers. What? So I would go onto programming and just... That'd be ridiculous. WoW Classic. See, WoW Classic I might cover in a Wood and Potatoes capacity. I might do WoW Classic streams. That could be a thing. That might be the next alternate game you see here on stream. Because I think that people would be interested in seeing me do that. But my fan favorite games and stuff I'm playing on PlayStation and Stellaris and all that stuff, I doubt I'll do. Pilgrimage to the Hall of Ascension. Divinity's Reach to the Hall of Ascension on foot without mount and white gear. That sounds boring, I'm sorry. All potato locations in Guild Wars 2. Fractal 0 to 0. And I'm not saying I won't play other games on any format. You will see other games on other places, but just not necessarily Twitch for a while. 1 to 10 environmental weapons only. 1 to 80 environmental weapons only. Community race commentating. Any work you need to do for long-term projects like state of the game. That's a good point, because I never did the PvP guide in the end. I didn't do state of the game videos either.
Interesting.
I don't raid, so I might enjoy 1 or 2. Well, I've done videos on all that. All the value you will ever get out of raiding content from me are in those videos. How to do them, how the lore is presented. After you've seen it once and gone through it once, there's really very little variation in the content itself. It's just people who can't do it that are living vicariously, and it's just a weird thing to me. An easy view grab that I'm not interested in. I actually created a new character and tried to complete the game without using waypoints. It's quite impressive. Yeah, I did that as well. I have a video on doing that. Merciless Cantha playthrough. Right, so I'll talk about my ideas now. No one said anything that really inspires me, but no one's also said the ideas I had. What about GVG? Going back to Guild Wars 1 GVG, that's crazy. Announce you're having a Guild Wars 2 counter stream, and all it is split screen factions and Guild Wars 2, and you're switching off between them. Do I have Stellaris gameplay on YouTube? I have I have 2 videos about Stellaris on YouTube, but it's Stellaris 1.0 when I'm only about 5 hours of experience with the game, and I did a visual wood video showing it to Matt. But there was just so much information, and it was so overwhelming that we talked for it for 5 hours or whatever it was. But it was like 99% me talking and Matt saying, oh, okay, that's interesting every now and then. And it just overloaded him with information, and it generally didn't really work as a format. So it left, we didn't do many more videos of it, and it left me as a fan of it and an increasing fan over the years. And that was about it. But you can see a similar thing for PoE. I'm a big fan of PoE. And I have a really old video where I was playing PoE in the Daily Deal and talking to people That's a really old video. That's like PoE 1.0. Only for me to go become a bigger private fan. Random indie games that I haven't played. Oh, dude, I do have a lot of those on Steam. I've always liked the idea. If I was like a variety gamer, of doing that, basically doing a challenge where it's like, okay, here's my Steam library. Here is 150 games I own that I've never played. Here they are ordered in acquisition of when I bought them. I'm going to, in order, play, not necessarily beat, but try to beat. And, you know, some of them will be open world, so we'll have a minimum hours invested, like 20 hours or something. I'm going to do a series on every single one of these games in order until I've actually played and experienced everything on the Steam library. Let's go. I've always liked the thought of that. I'm sure someone on YouTube must be doing that. Don't know whether it's popular, but... Anyway, that's not on the table for the streams or anything. I have other non-Guild Wars stuff that I'm far more excited about. PvP guide today from 0 to Hero or World vs. World. Well, I did a PvP 0 to Hero not too long ago, and it lasted a few streams. It was pretty interesting. A whiskey stream. Unless I randomly get bombed with £200 and I can buy interesting whiskeys and stuff, there will not be a whiskey stream. If that does happen, I guarantee I'd do it, but I'm not going to ask that of people. Do you think Zalambur and the other Elonian refugees will appear in the festival? Interesting thought. Asurable. I mean, we could do a guild event, and next weekend there will be another guild tour amongst the Zephyrite stuff, but that's not a big project. That's not like a couple of months of fun things. An open stream of drafting and editing a YouTube video. That's the kind of thing I'd put up as Patreon content. I have a lot of content on Patreon for people who are big donators there and really help me to be me. You unlock an exclusive series of behind the scenes, how I do all my work and the production of videos and stuff. And a video like that would go on that, but that would be exclusively for those legends, those awesome people that do that. I like therapy, Tatoes. Tell us what angers you. I'm not willing to just be a guy that talks and whines on the internet. I'll at least pretend that I'm offering some other value. Have I played The Fall of Oriath then? No, not recently. Yeah, I haven't talked about PoE for a while because I haven't played it for a while. That's true. I'm pretty out of touch with PoE, honestly, at the moment. And I was never that good at it either, which always made me scared to talk about it. Because it's a really great game and a dedicated game with a lot of depth. And I'm not that deep into it. So don't let me act like some massive fan currently. I haven't really played it since they went to the 10-act structure, which was a year ago now. Stardew? No, I'm not going to play it. No, guys. First time you ever made it to one of my streams. You're a YouTube guy. Hey there, you've tuned in a bit of a weird moment on a stream. Here, let me pretend that this is me. There, let's do it that way. I'm going to talk to you as Baked Councillor Yak. A lot of you guys are asking for shit that's YouTube series, not Twitch stuff. I think Spud 2 Hall has an upgrade. If you didn't today, don't worry. We're going to do a big thing for Spud. Oh, no, Spud 1 is the Guild Hall swap. Yeah, alright, I'll go do another upgrade. What are my game settings? This is all Ultra right now. Pure Ultra. Do you have info in your Patreon on how you got it started? Maybe tips for people who want to start being involved in the community in that way? No, I don't have a video like that. But if people want that, if you're on Patreon and you want that, send me a message and I might make it for you. Did I ever play Aeon? No, not really. A little bit. Tiny, weeny bit when it came out. You just want to see more lore, do something lore-related. Hall of Monuments stream. What would a Hall of Monuments stream be? Getting all the HOM stuff? Okay, alright. Here's what I want to do. How can I show this on stream? I can't really, can I? Oh, I think I maybe can. Let's see. All right. Okay. Add. Window capture. Add existing. Notepad. Always a scary moment. Boom. Okay, good. Right. So here's what I want to do. One. Back to PvP, okay? So what this would be is ATs returning. This would be regular games returning on Soul Beast. Other interesting gimmicks, as much as it might stress me out. Potentially some llama crafting, 0 to hero style stuff, just to teach people about more of the rewards. So that's one thing I'm thinking about. It would also orient me. I know that there are various community initiatives to fund new community tournaments, like Miss Challenges was. The thing is, most people are just they're putting capital up, but they're not doing anything else for it. So it's a huge workload to create all the overlays and remember how to cast and get the PvP caster toolbox and get back in touch with how that's being ran and all of that stuff. That's all a big thing that I regret I'm not involved in anymore, and I might be happy about. So that's one thing I'm vaguely thinking of. All right, number 2, Guild Wars 1 Cantha. Okay, so return to factions. Next expansion may be in this continent. So before Path of Fire came out, purely by coincidence, we did a Nightfall playthrough. And in retrospect, that was kind of an amazing thing, because we played Nightfall, we reminded everyone about that lore, we reminded ourselves about that lore, and then boom, an expansion came to that area. There's good reason to believe maybe the next expansion might be Cantha. And in which case, doing that at this point might be good. There's also... there's the new updates for graphics. There's stream interaction, which we can do more heavily and differently to Nightfall. In Nightfall, I refused to play with you all because I wanted to use heroes, and stream interaction was you guys picked the hero builds and you trolled with like smite monks and stuff, if you remember. Well, there aren't necessarily any heroes integrated with the faction story, so we could actually just play it together, maybe. That could be a fun way to do it. We could mix things up and do interesting builds and different comps and stuff like that. But a lot of people are into Guild Wars 1 at the moment. Some people just got the promotion recently. And then finally, there is also Winds of Change recap. I played Winds of Change twice. Once in normal mode, once in hard mode, in the twilight years of Guild Wars 1. And I don't remember much about it anymore. But I know it was fantastic. And a refresher for that might be kind of cool. So that would be like an ultra graphic. We'd probably use some UI add-ons as well. With Gmod. With Umod, actually, I should say. Umod, by the way. Oh, somebody do it for Guild Wars 2. Please, I'll give you gems. Somebody develop Umod for Guild Wars 2. Somebody develop Umod for Guild Wars 2. Somebody develop Umod for Guild Wars 2. Please. I want UI skins. They could be a thing. Anyway, so that's another idea. The next idea is Zero to Hero Fractals. New accounts all the way up to beating CM Nightmare without being defeated for all encounters. Okay, so not getting carried through, actually being there, actually having the AR, actually counting for something. Zero to Hero Fractals Edition. It's kind of a much more extreme version of Zero to Hero Raids. Now, the thing is, Zero to Hero Raids was this really exciting thing to a lot of people. Got a lot of viewership when I talked about it on streams and YouTube and stuff. But that's because there's a lot of casual morons who see the word raid and think that that's the most important, relevant thing. That buzzword doesn't exist for Fractals. So I won't get that kind of viewership. It's actually a much more interesting, grueling, long-term thing. But the fact that it's not got the raiding buzzword there means it will mean a lot less to casuals. But Zero to Hero Fractals is a way bigger project than Zero to Hero Raids. Getting a new account all the way up to full set of Ascended and infusing it all the way, that's a big project. That's months in the making. Regular Zero to Hero was months in the making. This is even more months. I mean, there are more Living World seasons and stuff now, so maybe it is easier to get Ascended stuff. I don't know. But, yeah, it's something to think about. What else is there? Return to Merciless. Merciless in Living World. HOT. So that would mean, POF. Merciless in areas of the game we haven't seen Merciless before. Would also mean elite specializations. So that would be another twist to it. But in general, it would be Merciless. I'm not going to do another no skills challenge. I know we did concept some other ways of doing that, like fire Elliot, powder only, dodge roll, damage only, those kinds of things. I'm not interested in any of those challenges. In general, I'm a bit scared of touching too much Corteria at the moment, just because I get so ranty with it, and it's a bit pathetic. So, what else? What else is there? What else did I want to do? I think there was one more thing, wasn't there? There was like a fifth idea. An HOM Guild Wars 1 run might be interesting. I'm scared of Guild Wars 1 though, because no one will watch it. That's the thing. No one will watch it. What about a combination like you've done in the past? One major project with a bit of PvP casting streams and PvP games thrown in. I'm very tempted, by the way, to put a pre-searing series on there, but I'm holding off on that because pre-searing I still want to be like the last thing I do before I leave Guild Wars for good. At whatever point that is in time, maybe that's a decade from now, maybe that's 5 years from now, maybe that's when I'm an old man, it doesn't matter. When I leave Guild Wars, I want the last thing I do is to be a dedicated pre-searing LP. And I don't want to waste that on a stream or whatever. Yeah, Guild Wars 1, just to remind you all, everyone was like, oh yeah, I'll watch Nightfall. Yeah, I'm really interested in Nightfall. And then viewers just disappeared. Like, everyone was like, oh, I'll watch Guild Wars 1 stuff, and then no one fucking watched Guild Wars 1 stuff. A couple of people watched Guild Wars 1 stuff. And I used to, like, easily get 1,000 people every stream until Nightfall, and then we never recovered after that. I mean, we get close depending on the content we do and how we do things, and we have had streams that go over 1,000. With semi-regular, I could force any stream I want to be over 1,000, but it's not just like a freebie anymore, and that's because we went to Guild Wars 1 for several months. So I'm a bit scared of Guild Wars 1. Thinking about your plan for pre-steering just gave you chills. Really? That's cool, dude. Yeah. That was the one big part of the Prophecies playthrough, which is where everything started that I never did, so that's how I'd want to end it. Guild Wars 1 GVG and stuff, I mean, it's all fun ideas. It is slightly different to last time because there are the Guild Wars 1 updates. There's a beating in the background audio and it's driving me insane. Really? Is that me hitting the mic in a weird way? Alright. I'll just have these 4 options then. I can't remember what option 5 was going to be. So I'm going to straw poll it. Was that not obvious? Did I not say that, by the way? Sorry, yeah, I was just letting you guys know, and now we're going to straw poll. And this straw poll is going to run over the week, and it's going to be available on Discord all week. So if you guys want to participate in this, you can do that. And by the end of next weekend, because we'll do 4 wins, and we'll do the Guildhall tour, and we'll do all kinds of fun stuff next weekend anyway. So by the time this comes around, we'll know what people want. So the next project, back to PvP, GW1, Cantha, and Winds of Change. And to those of you who are saying do a mix or whatever, yeah, we will be doing a mix. Whatever I pick here will still be interspliced with other random stuff, just as this Path of Fire playthrough has had various interspliced other things. So don't worry about that. There will be random other things going on. This Path of Fire playthrough had PvP appearing in it. It had contemporary content appearing. You know, it's got that stuff. It's annoying me though, as I'm about to create this. As I'm about to create this straw poll. What was number 5 going to be? Will I add to the straw poll as I come up with new ideas? I don't think that's possible. Is it? Can you update one? Alright, I'm going to just create it there. Alright, guys. So, those of you who are here and who have been talking to me about this for 15 minutes straight are probably invested in this. So, yeah, please feel free. Let me know out of the original post there exactly where you're leaning. And I'll watch the results coming in. No one's voting for the return to Merciless right now, which I'm... Oh, there you go. There's some votes coming in. For it. I don't generally feel too hot about it, but I mean, it could be fun. Cantha is currently in the lead. Fractals a little bit lower. PvP a little bit lower. Merciless much lower. Yeah. Alright, so we're at the greater part of 100 votes already, as I say this. So it looks like based on you lot right now, it's going to be Guild Wars 1. Which, by the way, I am really excited about. I love the thought of it. Going back to Xingji. Going back to Xingji Monastery. And we'll be creating a new character. We'll be going right back to the start. So you get all those old quests. Oh, probably play an assassin or something. Oh, it'll be pretty sick. And we'll get the UMod updates on there. There's a UMod that's got all these interesting like lines and things showing you how to complete missions and stuff. A bit like how... Jesus, what's it called? Taco works a little bit. There's so many fun things we can do. But I mean, Fractals Edition might be really fun as well. I don't know. Kurziks or Luxons? Well, that would be stuff you'd pick throughout the thing. Turtle Moji says, I voted 3, but I don't mind 2 at all. Am I going to play with viewers? I think, yeah, we would play with viewers, yeah. But hopefully they'd create new characters too. Given how we've visited pretty much all the Orders areas from Season 4 Episode 1 map changes, except Grothmar War Downs, I wonder if Episode 4 will take us to those Charos. I mean, I think that it's on the books because that's where Krauk woke up and we might go there to his awakening spot for some research purpose or something. And it's a good point narratively to have that break for some research, if you will. So yeah, I think you're bang on, Cottage. It could be next patch. Do I have a link for the UMod? No, but if you type Guild Wars UMod, it appears on Google. What about a tutorial series for Guild Wars 2? Is that relevant? Maybe, but I wouldn't put that as a stream series. Alright. That's it, guys. That's the stream. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will be back very soon. So if you enjoyed this, there's a follow button. If you click it, the internet will inform you next time I go live, and we can have good chit chat. If you get to my next stream early as well, there'll be less viewers, less people in chat, and more likely to get a response from me and all that kind of good stuff. So might be worth doing. Everybody who subbed as well today, you're legends. Jerry, I see you just got your 35th month in a row. What a boss. And yeah, don't forget about Discord, guys, which also has notifications for things we do. The straw poll will be hosted on Discord throughout the week. And yeah, wait, what do you want? What's going on, Rav? I'm completely new to Guild Wars 1. Would I be able to play beside you? Didn't you need to have played the other expansions first? No, Alodis. If you're completely new, you would be able to play alongside me. Literally, just buy factions, and you will be where I will be. Right at the start. It will be a fully new... If that's how the straw poll leads by the time that series starts. Absolutely, that's what it will be. And yeah, I'll pick up level 1 people at Xingje Monastery and we'll head out. We'll go into the Grand World. Host a Guild Wars 1 streamer? We don't have too many viewers today, though, so I don't want to squander our host opportunities. So yeah, listen, guys, we'll keep going with the straw poll over on Discord. Thank you very much. And all right, fine, I'll host anyway. Let's see, Guild Wars 1. All right. Let me see. Following games. I'm not even following Guild Wars 1 on Twitch. I'm following Stellaris and 3 Tomb Raider games. That's it. That's all I'm following on Twitch for games. All right, here's a guy, Doa Chris. All right, we're going to bomb a lot of people on a Guild Wars 1 guy. He's farming in Domain of Anguish. Let's hope his runs are going well. See you guys over there. Cheers, and I'll see you next time. Oh, yeah. The Guild Hall upgrade I'll do at some point in the week.